Chapter 2367. Lin Yi held back his excitement at the thought, but his face remained expressionless. He didn't think that Old Six would reveal his secret. Originally, Lin Yi only wanted to get some information out of Pu Laolu to buy some time, then compress a true energy bomb and throw it at him. However, the compressed true energy bomb did not have enough time. Most importantly, if Lin Yi could secretly learn Pu Lao's martial arts technique, it would be much easier than compressing the true energy bomb. Compressing the true energy bomb was not something that could be completed in a short period of time. You can say that. This martial arts technique was destroyed by me after I obtained it. As far as I know, no one else has it. Pu Laolu said calmly, so, I advise you not to waste your time. The reason why Pu Laolu told Lin Yi the truth was that he did not think that Lin Yi could learn his martial arts technique. Even if Lin Yi could get his hands on his martial arts technique through special means, it would take a long time. Moreover, his martial arts technique was unique. It was impossible for Lin Yi to get his hands on it. In short, he was not afraid that Lin Yi would use this martial arts technique against him. However, he did not expect Lin Yi to steal it. Is that so? Let's try again. Lin Yi said as he activated the fifth style of Frenzy 8 trigram palm and went straight for Pu Laolu. Boom, boom, bang. It was still a head-on collision. Lin Yi ended the battle by retreating. However, Lin Yi's mind was not on the result. Instead, he carefully observed Pu Lao's method of activating the heaven and earth splitting claw. Lin Yi didn't know the chant for sky splitting earth splitting claw, and there was no way he could ask for it. So, he could only imitate the activation method of sky splitting earth splitting claw, just like how he combined Fire Fist and 5-element 8 trigram palms, using Fire Fist's chant and sky splitting earth splitting claw's activation method to create a new technique. After landing, Lin Yi did not stand up immediately. Instead, he closed his eyes and repeatedly replayed the method of activating the heaven and earth splitting claw in his mind. Park Lao's movements were like a slow-motion movie, playing over and over again in Lin Yi's mind, because of his previous experience of combining the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm and Mu Linsen 8 trigram palm. Lin Yi did not spend too much time combining the new martial arts technique. Moreover, the current situation did not allow him to waste too much time. Brat, are you still not going to give up? Park Laolu asked coldly. Oh. Lin Yi stood up slowly. When he was combining the heaven and earth splitting claw in his mind, Lin Yi's body was not idle. He had been using the second stage of the art of dragon mastery to heal his injuries. Therefore, Lin Yi's injuries were much better now. What? Park Laolu was stunned. He did not understand Lin Yi's meaning. It's the fifth form of the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm. Lin Yi used the mantra of the fifth form of the Frenzy Fire Fist and changed the method of activating the heaven and earth splitting claw. As for the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm, it was just to confuse Park Laolu. You're overestimating yourself. Pu Lao's eyes flashed with disdain at Lin Yi's move, and he humphed coldly. He didn't attack Lin, however, and just stood there helplessly. His meaning was clear. Fight if you want to, let's see what you can do about it. Park Laolu, be careful. Pu Huatiai's originally calm face suddenly revealed a trace of disbelief as he suddenly called out to Pu Laolu. Huh! Park Laolu was stunned, but it was too late. Lin Yi's heaven and earth splitting claw was already on Park Lao's chest. Pu Lao's arrogant face suddenly turned pale, and a look of disbelief flashed in his eyes. Then, his face turned gloomy, and his whole body flew backward, smashing into the wall of the private room with a loud bang. A deep pit was formed on the wall of the private room. Park Lao's injury was not light. From the blackish-purple blood that flowed out from the corner of his mouth, it was obvious that he had suffered a serious internal injury. Lin Yi wasn't too surprised. Although the heaven and earth splitting claw was successfully activated, its power was far less than the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm. It was only equivalent to the power of the fifth form of the normal Frenzy Fire Fist, which was the sixth form of a normal high-tier martial arts technique. This combination of martial arts did not bring about the effect of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm. However, it was within Lin Yi's expectations. After all, The power of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm was heaven-defying. Park Lao-Yo's heaven and earth-splitting claw could not be said to be outstanding. It was only equivalent to the power of a normal high-tier martial arts technique. Therefore, the power of the combination of Frenzy Fire Fist and Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw was equivalent to the power of the 6th form of a normal martial arts technique. This was not out of Lin Yi's expectations. However, Park Lao-Lu stood there without any defense or attack and let Lin Yi hit him. This was out of Lin Yi's expectations. Isn't this guy a little too arrogant just to make me give up? Therefore, when Park Lao-Lu was caught off guard, Lin Yi's attack landed on his body. Even though it was only the 6th form, the Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw seemed to be a martial arts technique that was specifically used to counter Park Lao-Lu. The damage it brought was much greater than the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm. How is this possible? Park Lao-Lu coughed up 4 mouthfuls of blood before he stood up shakily. He could not believe what he saw. How can you activate the Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw? Who did you learn it from? You. Once Lin Yi finished speaking, he did not wait for Park Lao-Lu to regain his footing. He used the 5th form of the Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw again. This time, Park Lao-Lu saw Lin Yi's move clearly. Previously, he took it for granted that Lin Yi used the Frenzy Fire 8 trigram palm, so he did not guard against it at all. It was not until Park Hwa-Ti reminded him that he realized something was wrong, but it was too late. But this time, when Lin Yi made his move, he saw it clearly. It was the Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw. Although he did not know how Lin Yi learned it, the activation method and movement were exactly the same as his. Moreover, the claw had a red fire attribute True Qi, as if he was the one who activated it. Park Lao-Lu was shocked. Others did not know the extent of the damage that the Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw could do to him, but he knew. Even if Lin Yi activated the 6th form, the damage to him was still very great. Park Lao-Lu could be sure that if Lin Yi continued to activate it, he would not be able to last more than 5 moves. The Heaven and Earth-Splitting Claw was his nemesis. As the saying goes, everything has its weakness. Chapter 2368. Aren't you teaching me? Once you activate it, I'll learn it. Lin Yi said lightly, thank you for activating it again. I'm even more proficient now. Go to hell. Bang. Bang. Lin Yi hit Park Lao-Lu, and Park Lao-Lu hit Lin. Although Park Lao-Yo's skill seemed to be stronger, the damage he suffered was no less than Lin. Especially when he was caught off guard by the claw just now, it was a huge blow to his body. Moreover, Lin Yi's last sentence made Park Lao-Lu subconsciously reduce the power of the sky-splitting claw. He didn't want Lin Yi to learn it again. Now that it was very similar, wouldn't it kill him to learn it again? Both of them retreated. Lin Yi sat on the ground, and Park Lao-Lu slammed into the wall again. Park Hwa-Ti's brows furrowed even more. The way he looked at Lin Yi changed from the initial disdain to the current seriousness. Where did this person come from? Which faction is he from? He can actually imitate other people's skills? Isn't this too heaven-defying? I've never heard of someone with this kind of ability. Park Lao-Yo's eyes were filled with fear at this moment. He no longer had the arrogance from before, only bewilderment. He couldn't believe it. How is this possible? Lin Yi was actually beaten badly, but he didn't show the pain on his face. This was the so-called acting tough behavior of swallowing one's teeth after being beaten. But sometimes, acting tough must be done. When the enemy is confused by you, you win. This is the highest level of acting tough. Lin Yi was recovering, Park Lao-Lu was bewildered, and Park Hwa-Ti was frowning, thinking about the pros and cons. Park Hwa-Ti originally thought that things should be easy to solve. Lin Yi retreating was the perfect solution, but the situation was completely different now. Lin Yi's 2 consecutive moves had injured Pu Lao-Lu quite badly. If they were to continue fighting, it was hard to say who would emerge victorious. It was very likely that both of them would perish together. But, to let Pu Hwa-Ti give up on Qin just like that, he was absolutely unwilling. It wouldn't be easy to find such a good cauldron if he gave it up. There were simply too few women with such an excellent physique who had been specially raised to be a human furnace from a young age. Pu Hwa-Ti had seen many talented girls, but because they were past the age limit, they could no longer be cultivated into cultivation furnaces. This was also the reason why he didn't want to give up on Qin Shi and chose to go against Lin Yi. Pu Laolu, finish him quickly. Even if you have to fight him head-on, you have to kill him. That girl is of great use to me. Pu Huati made his decision in an instant. Even if you die, you will die for the glory of the right Miao clan. Your ranking will be enshrined by the right Miao clan. I will also request for your son to be accepted as a disciple when he grows up. At the very least, his status will not be lower than mine. Pu Huati began to make empty promises to Pu Laolu. He had already given up on Pu Laolu. However, these words made Pu Laolu's eyes light up. He had to admit that Pu Huati's promises moved him. He knew that if he and Pu Huati didn't hand over Qin Shi today, Lin Yi wouldn't let the matter rest. But Pu Laolu also knew how important Qin Shi was to Pu Huati, so he knew that the only way was to fight. Kid, you heard it too. If you know what's good for you, leave now and we'll live in peace. If you insist on sticking your neck out, then I'll fight to the death and drag you down with me. Pu Laolu took a deep breath and said to Lin. Of course, he also hoped that Lin Yi would give up and leave. That way, he wouldn't have to die in vain. Although he wasn't afraid of death for the sect, who would want to die if they could. Since I said I won't stop until one of us dies, let's continue. Lin Yi stood up and smiled at Pu Laolu. What if the one who dies in the end is you and not me? No. That's possible. Pu Ol 6 vehemently rejected the idea. I have to admit that your ability to steal and learn from me is impressive. But you can't deny the fact that you're just a mid-earth class. You're just a mid-earth class. It's impossible for a martial skill to unleash the power of the 11th move. If I'm not wrong, it should only be the 6th move. And I'm an Earth class late phase peak master. My strength and endurance, as well as the power of my martial skills, are far greater. As for you, if we continue like this, you'll be the one to die first. Although, I might also be heavily injured. Oh, what else do you have to say? Lin Yi listened and said faintly, if you're done, let's continue. At this point, Pu Laolu also knew that there was no way he could convince Lin Yi. He could only continue. Heaven-splitting fire claw, 5th form. Lin Yi's injuries and stamina were almost fully recovered. He activated another heaven-splitting fire claw, going straight for Pu Laolu, catching him off guard. He didn't think that Lin Yi would attack just like that, but Pu Laolu was an Earth-class late-phase peak master after all. His reflexes weren't weak either, and he quickly channeled his practitioner's chant. He didn't even use his qi to protect his body. Instead, he poured all of his qi into his technique, activating his strongest technique, Sky-Splitting Claw 10th form. Bam! Bam! 2 loud sounds rang out. The 2 bodies collided and separated, flying in 2 different directions. Pu Laolu was severely injured. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he panted heavily. Although he had boasted before, only he knew in his heart how much damage the Sky-Splitting Claw had inflicted on him. This martial skill was the nemesis of his external martial arts. Not to mention the fact that Lin Yi had activated the 6th form. As long as he hadn't reached Sky Class, even the 1st form would be enough to kill him. Only when he reached Sky Class would the damage from the 10 forms of Earth Class martial skills be truly negligible. Unfortunately, he wasn't a Sky Class master. Of course, Lin Yi wasn't having a good time either. After spitting out a mouthful of black blood, he gritted his teeth and silently endured it. After landing on the ground, he desperately channeled the 2nd stage of the art of dragon mastery to heal himself. He didn't say anything harsh. He just used all the time he had to heal himself. This kind of feeling made Lin Yi a little scared. If Pu Laolu didn't give Lin Yi any time to recover, then Lin Yi would only be able to take a one-sided beating. Just like when he faced the 5th guardian, he could only. Chapter 2369. From his point of view, cultivators could only use medicinal pellets to heal themselves. Otherwise, how long would it take for them to recover on their own? His injuries couldn't be healed, so he could only adjust the chaotic qi in his body so that he could fight against Lin Yi with all his might. With that, Lin Yi was able to take advantage of the situation. Otherwise, he'd have to waste another net of heaven and earth to trap old 6. Then, while he couldn't move, he would go to the private room to save Qin Shi. As for Pu Huati, Lin Yi didn't put him in his heart. From Lin Yi's point of view, Pu Huati was just a cultivator with high defense. As for whether it was a spiritual or physical cultivator, Lin Yi wasn't sure. But he definitely didn't have a strong offensive ability. Otherwise, if he and Pu Laolu worked together, even if their offensive ability wasn't that strong, it would still be enough to hold him back. Then, Pu Laolu wouldn't be in such a miserable state. But from the looks of it, it wasn't that he didn't want to, but he really couldn't help. This person only had the ability to protect himself, but he didn't have any offensive ability. Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw 5th Form. Lin Yi attacked once more after recovering, continuing to fight head-on with Pu Laolu. It wasn't the first time Lin Yi used this sort of head-on fighting style anyways, and he'd mastered the rhythm and technique a long time ago. The black-clothed assassin and the third head of the Red Conches had all died under Lin Yi's hands. Of course, this method of using a lower level to kill a higher level was only used by people like Lin Yi who had the art of dragon mastery. If it was someone else, they would have died already. But one had to admit that this method was tried and tested. Because the enemy wouldn't expect Lin Yi to be able to recover on his own, and at such a fast speed. Bang! Bang! Another two loud sounds. Pu Laolu felt that his internal organs had shifted. Even those that weren't shifted started to bleed. He looked at Lin Yi with a blurry gaze. He regretted telling Lin Yi about his nemesis martial art. Who would have thought that Lin Yi could learn it secretly? Before today, Park Laolu had never dreamed of this. Without the mantra, how could he learn a martial skill in secret? This could only be treated as a joke, but now, it was real. Seeing that Lin Yi had vomited a mouthful of blood, Pu Laolu was secretly pleased. Sure enough, this brat's injuries should be more serious than his. He had already spat out 2 mouthfuls of black blood. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels had already been displaced, and Lin Yi would not be any better off. Park Laolu was even more determined to kill Lin Yi, although it was possible for him to do the same. His meridians were all damaged and his cultivation strength was crippled. However, if he could survive and return to the right Miao clan, he would be able to survive. Then sect leader Kuan would definitely let him cultivate Pu Huatiai's devil arts. This was because Pu Huatiai's devil technique was a different kind of cultivation method, which was to refine goo poison. It had nothing to do with normal cultivation. Even a disabled person could cultivate it. Thinking of this, Park Laoyo's eyes flashed with passion. Others might not know, but he knew that if Pu Huatiai's devil technique reached the advanced stage, he would be invulnerable. He would be no different from those who had reached the advanced stage of the Golden Bell Shield and Iron Shirt. Furthermore, he would not have any weak points. He would have to use the female blood to refine it regularly. This was a difficult matter, but it could be solved. In the future, Pu Huati would have the meat and he would have the soup. The effect would be slightly weaker, but it was better than nothing. Brat, I will kill you today even if I have to risk my life. Park Laolu stood up with confidence and looked at Lin. If you want to die, then come at me. Let's see who has the last laugh. Lin Yi's injuries had mostly recovered. He responded indifferently and stood up. Although his expression was calm, Lin Yi's heart was beating like a drum. Park Laoyo's confidence seemed to have been boosted. This wasn't going to be easy to deal with. Taking a deep breath, Lin Yi decided to change his strategy. He changed the Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw to Mu Linsen Sky Splitting Earth Claw. Mu Linsen Sky Splitting Earth Claw's 5th form was equivalent to the 5th form of a normal high-class technique, but it was better in that he could use 5 forms at the same time. In the beginning, Lin Yi naturally chose Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw to Mu Linsen Sky Splitting Earth Claw. Although the 5th form of Mu Linsen Sky Splitting Earth Claw was equivalent to the 5th form of a normal high-class technique, it was better in that he could use 5 forms at the same time. It could be said that if Park Laolu wasn't injured, Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw would definitely deal more damage to him than Mu Linsen Sky Splitting Earth Claw. This was like an early phase Mystic Class Master. If he wasn't injured, then an early phase Golden Class Master would only be able to scratch his itch. If 5 early phase Golden Class Masters were to attack him, then it would be the same. Only a peak late phase golden class master might be able to cause some damage to him. But if this early phase mystic class master was injured, his defense would be greatly reduced. If a late phase golden class master were to attack him, he would definitely be more heavily injured. But if 5 early phase golden class masters were to attack him at once, then he might very well die. This was also the reason why Lin Yi chose Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw in the first place. But now that Park Laolu was injured, Lin Yi naturally switched to Mu Linsun Sky Splitting Earth Claw. Mu Linsun Sky Splitting Earth Claw, 5th form. Lin Yi yelled as he charged forward, channeling Mu Linsun's Thousand Illusions chant, using the Sky Splitting Earth Claw's method of activation. He wanted to use the Sky Splitting Earth Claw's strongest move. But just as Lin Yi was about to use it, Lin Yi was shocked to find that Mu Linsun Sky Splitting Earth Claw wasn't activated. Not to mention the 5th form, even the 1st form's power wasn't activated. In other words, Lin Yi used a useless move. Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. He didn't know what was going on, but he didn't dare to try it again. Without a word, he changed his move and used the 5th form of Frenzy Fire Sky Splitting Earth Claw at Pu Laolu. Luckily, Lin Yi's reaction was fast, and he was already familiar with this move. There was a pause in the middle, but it didn't affect the overall situation. Old Six didn't understand why Lin Yi had yelled out Mu Linsun's Sky Splitting Earth Splitting Claw, but he didn't have the time to think about it. He took a deep breath and charged forward. Since he had chosen to fight to the end, he couldn't compromise no matter what. But the price of not compromising was very heavy. Proportion. Chapter 2370. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. After this fight, Pu Laolu was on the verge of collapsing. His legs were wobbly, and he had vomited too much blood. He wanted to rest, but he heard Lin Yi say, "Again." Pu Laolu was speechless. He wanted to yell at Lin, "Fuck, are you a cockroach? Can't you just rest for a bit? You're an Earth class mid-phase. Why aren't you dead yet? Are you even an Earth class mid-phase?" In fact, Lin Yi had indeed rested for a while. He needed to heal his wounds. But this period of time seemed long to Lin Yi, but to Pu Laolu, it was very short. His wounds were getting worse and worse, and Lin Yi's wounds were getting worse and worse, but he was still able to hold on. Of course, Lin Yi could tell that if this went on, he would be done for. But before he was done for, Pu Laolu would be done for. As long as he was done for, Lin Yi could rest in peace and heal his wounds. Left with no choice, Pu Laolu could only attack again. But he was already at his limit. He knew that this would be his last attack. If he got hit by Lin Yi again, he wouldn't be able to live. And so, he used up all the chi in his body, wanting to give Lin Yi a killing blow. Sky Splitting Earth Claw, 10th form. Sky Splitting Claw, 5th form. Lin Yi really wanted to use the 5th form of Mu Linsun's Sky Splitting Earth Splitting Claw, but it had failed. So, Lin didn't dare to try again. What if he failed again? Right now, Lin Yi had lost the confidence he had in his omnipotent martial skill. After all, he had failed to use Spring Rain before. It wasn't surprising that Mu Linsun's Sky Splitting Claw would fail. But Lin Yi was a little puzzled. He couldn't figure out the reason. Bam, bam. This attack was indeed fatal to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was injured again. Even though he was healing, he couldn't keep up with his injuries. After being sent flying by Pu Laolu, he landed heavily on the ground. He didn't even have the strength to get up. The reason why Lin Yi was able to fight again was because of his will. That was the only reason why he was able to hold on until now. But Lin Yi smiled. Park Laoyo's situation wasn't looking good. Lin Yi was a doctor, and he could easily tell that Park Laoyo's life was slipping away. He was going to die soon. So, Lin Yi started to use the art of dragon mastery to heal himself. He didn't even have the strength to sit up. Pu Huati looked at Pu Laoyo's body. A complicated look flashed in his eyes. Even though he didn't care about a bodyguard like Pu Laolu, he was someone who had followed him for a long time. This time, he killed Lin. He had to leave. He couldn't fight Chu Chisho anymore. He was afraid that the power behind Lin Yi would come looking for him. Thinking of this, Pu Huati quickly walked into the private room. He picked up the unconscious Qin Shi and quickly walked out of the private room. He didn't even want Pu Laoyou's body. A dead person was like a lamp going out. To him, death was death. When he went back, he would advise his father and master to take good care of his son. That would be enough to make up for this debt. Even though Lin Yi was lying on the ground in the space of the jade pendant to heal himself, he could still sense what was happening outside. Seeing that Pu Huati didn't forget to take Qin Shi away at this time, he was shocked and angry. Originally, Lin Yi thought that after he killed Pu Laolu, Pu Huati would definitely choose to retreat and leave with Pu Laoyou's body. But Lin Yi didn't expect that this guy didn't even want Pu Laoyou's body. Instead, he took Qin Shi away. This was unbelievable to Lin. This guy can't be this lecherous, can he? In this situation, he still didn't forget to take Qin Shi away. What kind of person is this? However, even if Lin Yi wanted to stop him, his injuries were too severe. He couldn't get up at all. Moreover, even if Lin Yi stood up, he might not be able to stop him because Pu Huati was simply invulnerable. If Lin Yi wanted to deal with him, it would be more difficult than Pu Laolu. Pu Laolu Lin Yi could use the Mad Fire Earth-Splitting Claw to deal with him, but Pu Huati was different. This guy wasn't afraid of being hit. Even if Lin Yi hit him, it would be useless. Seeing that Pu Huati was about to walk out of the room, Lin Yi suddenly became anxious. He didn't care about his injuries anymore. He climbed up from the ground and shouted at Pu Huati, "Stop!" Pu Huati was shocked by Lin Yi's roar. Previously, he thought that Lin Yi and Pu Laolu should have perished together. After all, both of them were lying on the ground motionless. Pu Huati subconsciously thought that both of them were dead. How could he have thought that Lin Yi came back to life and stood up again? "You didn't die?" Pu Huati was shocked. He turned his head and looked at Lin Yi, who was trembling as he stood up. Pu Huati then smiled, "You're just a strong arrow. What can you do to me? Although you should have guessed that I don't have any offensive martial skills, you absolutely can't stop me from leaving. Because my defense is very strong. You can't kill me. You didn't die. That's not bad. I'll leave first. See you again." In Pu Huati's view, if Lin Yi didn't die, then the sect behind Lin Yi wouldn't be too angry. He also knew that these big sects in China had some top-quality third-grade dawn. As long as there were dawn, he believed that Lin Yi's recovery was only a matter of time. The sect behind him wouldn't travel all the way to Southeast Asia to find trouble with him. Although Lin Yi was unwilling, he had no choice but to admit that what Pu Huati said was the truth, because at this moment he really could not win against Pu Huati. This person was invulnerable, just like those external martial artists who practiced the golden bell cover and iron skin shirt. If Lin Yi wanted to make him stay, it was impossible without a true qi bomb. However, in Lin Yi's current state, it was already very difficult for him to heal his wounds. How could there be a true qi bomb to deal with him? Therefore Lin Yi was helpless and anxious, but there was nothing he could do. His injuries hadn't healed yet, so he had to brace himself and fight. Frenzied Flame Heaven Splitting Earth Splitting Claw, 5th move. Lin Yi didn't know if the Frenzy Fire Heaven Splitting Earth Claw would be effective against Pu Huati, but he knew that the 5th form of the Frenzy Fire 8 trigrams palm didn't cause any damage to Pu Huati, so he could only try the Frenzy Fire Heaven Splitting Earth Claw. When Pu Huati saw that Lin Yi still dared to attack, he was instantly angered. He frowned and activated some unknown cultivation technique. "You won't repent until you see the coffin." The fastest update, please bookmark. Chapter 2371. Bam! Lin Yi sensed that something was amiss as Pu Huati seemed to be using some unknown practitioner's arts, but it didn't look like one either. It was like he was activating something, and his skin glowed with a metallic light. Lin Yi's heaven-splitting earth-splitting claw hit Pu Huati's body, but it was as if he'd hit a piece of metal. The recoil was so painful that Lin Yi's claw felt like it was about to break. Plus, he'd used up every last bit of strength he had in that claw attack, and it hadn't hurt Pu Huati in the slightest. Lin Yi couldn't stop Pu Huati from leaving anymore. Lin Yi's head was spinning, and he was about to faint from being forced into the jade space, but at that moment, the door was pushed open, and Elder Pai came charging in with Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, Wu Chentian, and Wu Gonggao. "Leave him?" Lin Yi said as he looked at the 5 people who had barged into the room. His heart was filled with comfort as he fainted. Elder Pai, Pai Zhishan, Pai Zhihai, Wu Chentian, and Wu Gonggao were shocked when they saw Lin Yi faint. But they didn't go check on Lin Yi's injuries, instead activating their strongest skills at the same time, attacking Pu Huati. 11th form of Heaven and Earth Fist. Elder Pai roared, sending a punch at Pu Huati. First form of Heaven and Earth Fist. Zhishan, Chintian, and Gonggao all used the first form of Heaven and Earth Fist they'd been practicing for the past 2 days. Second form of Heaven and Earth Fist. Zhihai, on the other hand, could use the second form of Heaven and Earth Fist. They used their strongest moves right from the get-go, and they saw that Lin Yi had fainted. Naturally, they wouldn't hold back anymore. Lin Yi's order was to keep this guy here, so they had to go all out. Pu Huati didn't expect that Lin Yi's helpers would come, and there were even 5 of them. However, he wasn't nervous. He didn't believe that ordinary cultivators could do anything to him, so he continued to activate the demonic goo poison, making his body invulnerable. Bang! 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 After 5 loud bangs, Pu Huati was met with tragedy. His head was broken, his chest was flattened, and there was not a single intact bone in his body. The strongest external attacker. Pu Huati finally realized that his death was not unjust. The 5 people who came in later were all physical experts. Moreover, they were all trained physical experts. Their attack power was extremely strong, and coupled with their godly martial skills, it was not an injustice to kill him. Although he trained in demonic arts and had the goo poison on him, he hadn't mastered it yet. Right now, normal sky class early to mid-phase spiritual practitioners couldn't do anything to him, but that didn't mean that these physical practitioners were useless against him. Spiritual practitioners used chi to hurt the enemy, and physical practitioners used the body to hurt the enemy. The two seemed to have similar destructive power, but spiritual chi couldn't penetrate Pu Huati's body. Iron fists, on the other hand, were different. This was what they meant by, there's always a counter to another. Even one of them was enough to injure him. Not to mention 5 at the same time, this was simply an instant kill. But before he died, he just couldn't figure out why 5 refined external martial arts experts had suddenly appeared. After killing Pu Huati, Pai Zhishan and Pai Zhihai quickly ran to Lin Yi. "Boss, how are you?" "Boss should be fine." Qintian knew Lin Yi quite well, and he knew that Lin Yi could recover on his own, so he was quite shocked. He waved his hand at the two. "Don't worry, just wait patiently and guard this place. Don't let anyone disturb us." But Pai Zhishan and Pai Zhihai replied. "Titan, my friend, this body? And there's another body over there." Elder Pai paused, only realizing that there was another body in the room. No wonder Lin Yi was so heavily injured. He was thinking that there was nothing special about killing that person, just a few people working together to kill him in one hit. Lin Yi shouldn't be so heavily injured. It seemed like Lin Yi had gotten injured while fighting with the others. "Don't worry about it for now." Qin Tian waved his hand as he looked at Qin Shi on the ground. She couldn't be his sister-in-law, could she? She looked a little young, like a high schooler. But Qin Tian didn't dare tarry. He carefully lifted Qin Shi and put her on the sofa, untying her hands and feet. Old Pai and Old Wu nodded. They were older, but they still followed Qin Tian's orders. After all, Qin Tian had been with Lin Yi for the longest time. "All right, then what should we?" Elder Pai asked. "Go find the boss here and ask him what's going on." Qin Tian knew that he couldn't disturb Lin Yi, but if something happened to Lin Yi, the boss would definitely be blamed. He might even know what happened, so the best thing to do was to ask him what happened. "All right, I'll do it." Elder Pai nodded. His admiration for Lin Yi was unparalleled. At first, he served Lin Yi because Lin Yi helped Pai Zhihai heal. But now, after seeing Lin Yi's power, especially after Lin Yi leveled him up to a master of both internal and external cultivation, his gratitude towards Lin Yi turned into admiration and worship. The world of cultivation was a world where the strong ruled. Elder Pai knew this, especially after seeing the potential and strength that Lin Yi had shown. He knew that if he followed Lin Yi closely, the Hidden House Pai's path would not only stop at the Hidden Noble House level, They might even become an ancient noble house. As long as he, Pai Jishan, and Pai Jihai all became heaven rank masters who cultivated both internal and external cultivation, the Holy Fist Palace would be the first to support them and support House Pai to become an ancient aristocratic family in the ancient level meeting. Then, old Master Pai stood up and walked out of the room. There was no one around the room, but at the end of the corridor, there was a waiter who was looking at the situation with shifty eyes. "You come here." Old Pai pointed at the waiter. "Excuse me, sir, what can I do for you?" The waiter was startled and asked carefully in a panic. "Where's your boss?" "Old Pai, our boss." "Excuse me, what can I do for you?" The waiter asked in a trembling voice. "Tell him to appear in front of me in 1 minute, or else I'll smash his place." Old Man Pai was the head of a family. He was usually very dignified, but now that he was Lin Yi's subordinate, he naturally became an arrogant little brother. The fastest update, please bookmark. Chapter 2372. Please wait. The waiter saw Elder Pai walk out of the Sky Room 1, and Gambling Bro had specifically asked him to check the room carefully and report back if anything happened. The waiter didn't dare to delay, so he relayed Elder Pai's request to Gambling Bro. "Boss, someone wants to see you." The person who came out of the Sky Room 1. He said that if you don't show up in a minute, he'll destroy our place. Oh. Gamble Bro frowned, displeased at the arrogance of the newcomer. But thinking back to the Earth-class strength that Lin Yi and Pu Laolu had displayed in the room, he knew that he, a mere Golden-class late-phase peak, was no match for them at all. He couldn't fight against the person who came out of the room, whether it was Lin Yi or Pu Laolu. He thought about it and said, "Okay, I'll go now." Within a minute, Gambling Bro appeared in front of Elder Pai. "I'm the boss here, people call me Gambling Bro. Who's looking for me?" Gambling Bro looked around, but he didn't see Lin Yi, Pu Laolu, and Pu Huati. He wasn't that scared anymore, so he looked at Elder Pai and said calmly, "What's going on in that room?" Elder Pai pointed at the Sky Room 1 not far away. "Or you?" Gambling Bro asked. "You're not going to tell me?" Old Man Pai furrowed his brows, a little annoyed. This boss didn't know how to appreciate favors. He casually clenched his fist, and with a punch, a bronze statue in the hallway was smashed into pieces. This was the most effective way. Old Pai didn't know that Gambling Bro was a practitioner, so he didn't bother to explain anything about Sky-class masters or hidden houses. From Old Pai's point of view, Gambling Bro didn't know much about these higher-level things. He was just a casino owner who had a good reputation in the underworld. So, Old Man Pai smashed the statue with one punch to shock Bro Gamble. But Gamble Bro's eyes showed shock. He was a cultivator, and although he was only at the peak late phase of Golden Class, he could see the depth of Old Pai's strength. Old Pai was a Sky-class early phase master. This made Gambling Bro's legs go soft and he almost knelt down. "Senior, I had eyes but failed to recognize Embitai. So Senior is a heaven rank initial phase expert. If you have anything to say, please don't hesitate to tell me. I, Gambling Bro, will tell you everything I know." "Umph." Old Pai snorted, a little surprised. "You're a cultivator too?" "I'm just a master at the peak of the late phase of the Golden Class." Gambling Bro cupped his fist and said carefully, "Oh, then come with me. Tell me clearly what happened in this box." Old Man Pai heard that Gambling Bro was also a cultivator. It saved him a lot of trouble. At least he didn't have to threaten him. He would cooperate obediently. "Yes." Gambling Bro didn't dare to delay at all. He nodded, but he was shocked. His little casino had such a master? Sky class? That was a legendary existence, and he didn't expect to see one with his own eyes. Gambling Bro followed Old Pai back to the box, and what he saw shocked him. Pu Huati was dead, Pu Laolu was dead, and Lin Yi seemed to be dead as well. Which side were these people from? Could it be the Hidden House Zhao? That's right, I heard that the Hidden Zhao family's old master Zhao is a heaven rank expert. It seems like the 5 people in front of me are from a third party. Gambling Brother heaved a sigh of relief and probed. "Senior is the Hidden Zhao family's old master Zhao? You know about the Hidden House Zhao?" Old Pai frowned. "I'm not from House Zhao. Don't try to use connections." Tell me everything you know. This? Brother Gamble was slightly taken aback. From the looks of it, this person in front of him really wasn't from the hidden Zhao family. Moreover, from his tone, he didn't seem to be very respectful towards the hidden Zhao family. Hence, he didn't dare to have any more suspicions and hurriedly explained everything that had happened here. Actually, this had nothing to do with him. He invited Southeast Asia's king of gambling, Pu Huati, to fight Hong Kong's king of gambling, Zhu Qishou. The reason was very simple. In the past, Zhu Qishou had come to the casino to wreak havoc, causing Gambling Bro to suffer heavy losses. Zhu Qishou had killed all the consultants in Gambling Bro's casino, causing him to suffer a crushing defeat. Therefore, Gambling Bro was unwilling to accept this outcome. Coincidentally, he heard of Park Huati's name and invited him to challenge Zhu Qishou. Pu Huati wanted to win the girl's virginity through gambling, and Gambling Bro wanted to revive the casino's reputation and also to rub down Zhu Qishou's spirit. So the two of them hit it off. But in the end, the two of them were in a cooperative relationship, and there was no other relationship. Pu Huati's opponent this time was the Hidden House Zhao, and the Hidden House Zhao's people seemed to want to lose to Pu Huati on purpose. They made Chen Shi lose to Pu Huati. Not only that, but they also asked Gambling Bro to inform the security on the first and second floor so that Lin Yi could come over smoothly. Anyway, Gambling Bro didn't dare to hide anything. The person in front of him was a heaven-class master. He even dared to betray the Hidden House Zhao, so he didn't dare to lie. He was a practitioner at the lowest level. If Old Pai wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. You mean, the Hidden House Zhao wanted to make this girl lose to Pu Huati on purpose, and then lure Mr. Lin here to save her? Old Pai understood what Gambling Bro meant. It should be like this. Gambling Bro said carefully. I understand. Okay, you can leave first. There's nothing for you to do here. Old Pai waved his hand and said to Gambling Bro. This matter really didn't have much to do with Gambling Bro, so Old Pai wouldn't vent his anger on him. He was just a small character. The Hidden House Zhao was behind all of this. Everything would have to wait for Lin Yi to wake up, and then let Lin Yi make the decision. Okay, Senior, if there's anything, you can find me anytime. Gambling Bro said carefully. Okay. Old Pai snorted and no longer cared about Gambling Bro. In his eyes, this kind of person was just an ant. He directly kicked him out, so that he wouldn't disturb Lin Yi's recovery. Although Lin Yi seemed to be unconscious, he was actually healing inside the space of the jade pendant. He could still clearly sense everything that happened outside. Hearing the conversation between Old Pai and Gambling Bro, Lin Yi's hatred towards the Hidden House Zhao increased a bit. Chapter 2373. Capturing Chen Shi to give to Pu Huati, trying to get past Pu Huati to get rid of him. Poor Pu Huati, on the other hand, didn't do anything wrong. It was his stubbornness, refusing to let go. If he had given up on Chen Shi, he wouldn't have been killed by Elder Pai and the others. But it was also because of his bad luck and strength. If it weren't for Elder Pai and the others, Lin Yi wouldn't have been able to stop him today. It was a close shave. Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't let it go just like that. The Hidden House Zhao, huh? He'll remember this. Zhao Qikuan, Elder Pai and the others, he'll get Zhao Qikuan to deal with you guys later. On the first floor of the casino, Yu Shu was playing happily. Oh, I'm Genius Shu, I won again. Yu Shu looked at the combination of patterns on the screen and jumped up and down with her fists raised. Shu, does this count as cheating? Meng Yao was a little worried. After all, Yu Shu was the one who figured out the pattern of the slot tiger, and she was basically winning every round. In just a short while, Shu had already won more than 5 million in chips. If this continued, wouldn't the casino lose money? Would there be people coming to cause trouble? Cheating? We didn't cheat, we just figured out the pattern. How is that cheating? Yu Shu shook her head. It's fine, this is a big casino, can't we afford to lose money? If we can't, our reputation will be ruined. You're right. Meng Yao looked at the customers and nodded. If someone really came to stop her and Shu from winning, then the casino's reputation would be ruined. There were a lot of rich people in Donghai, and there were many big bosses who could afford to lose. However, they could lose money, but they would never allow people to say that they cheated when they were winning. Can't afford to win? Who would come to play then? Of course, under normal circumstances, the casino wouldn't do such a self-destructive thing. However, it wasn't like no one noticed Shu's continuous winnings. In the casino surveillance room, there were people who had noticed this a long time ago. When they switched the image to Yushu, they realized that Yushu wasn't cheating at all. It wasn't easy to cheat at a slot machine like this, but it seemed like she had grasped some sort of calculation pattern. However, it wasn't that the casino didn't have any countermeasures. These slot machines were all connected to the internet. As long as they tampered with the control room, they could force the machine's program to not operate according to the conventional calculation method. The final result of human interference was a very simple matter. As a result, Yushu started losing after the surveillance team tampered with her slot machine, and she didn't even manage to win a single round. After all, no matter what she bet on, the people in the surveillance room would interfere with the result, and it'd be fine if the result didn't match Yushu's bet. But why isn't it working? Yushu looked at the slot machine in front of her strangely. She realized that her calculations weren't working. Logically speaking, it wasn't possible. She calculated it based on the results of the slot machine many times. Alright Shu, that's enough. No one can keep winning. Let's just play for a bit. Mengyao didn't know why Yushu's calculations weren't working, but she wasn't very interested in betting on the slot machine. No, there must be something wrong with this machine. I'll try another one. With that, Yushu walked over to another machine with a big box of chips in her hands, starting a new bet. As expected, this time, according to Yushu's calculations, the result was exactly the same. Yushu let out a yay and started betting again with confidence. However, this time, the result was tragic. The result was different from her calculations. Why isn't it working again? Yushu frowned, a little unhappy. Theoretically speaking, if the first calculation was correct, then the next one should work as well, but it just didn't work. Yushu switched to another machine, and it worked the first time, but it didn't work the second time. She was a little puzzled. In the surveillance room, the person in charge of the surveillance frowned as well. If Yushu played like this, she could really win once or twice if she switched to a different machine every time. After all, he still needed some time to get the control of the terminal machine. However, Yushu didn't plan to switch to another machine, and the person in charge breathed a sigh of relief. Yushu started studying the machine again, but no matter how she studied or what she bet on, the result would always be different. This result was the result of the person in charge of the surveillance, and Yushu couldn't calculate the pattern at all. What's going on? Yushu panicked as the chips in front of her decreased. She stopped studying the machine's pattern and started studying the machine itself. She walked around the machine, and her eyes lit up. There was an internet cable at the back of the machine, and there was an internet cable inserted into it. The data exchange light of the internet cable was blinking. However, only this machine's data exchange light was blinking very frequently. The other tiger bashers didn't flicker this much. Evidently, the tiger pheasant was constantly exchanging data with the server's server. Yushu had learned something like this in her school's computer class, and so she understood the reason why she was losing money right away. Her tiger basher was probably targeted by the person in charge of the server. No matter what she bet, the other side would interfere. Naturally, it was impossible for her to win money. Yushu was angry at the thought. She came here to gamble, and she didn't cheat. How dare they interfere? Wasn't this a little too petty? Yushu pulled out the internet cable and continued to bet with a smile on her face. As expected, the result was the same as the display. As expected, Yushu decided to place a higher bet this time. Very quickly, the chips in front of her went from a pitiful 2 million to more than 10 million. At this moment, the surveillance room was in chaos. The person in charge of the surveillance realized that he had lost connection with Yushu's tiger basher. He couldn't control the machine from the terminal, but from the surveillance footage, the tiger basher was still working normally, spitting out large amounts of chips. Chapter 2374. He'd been too focused on Yushu's screen that he hadn't seen her pull out the cable, and so he'd assumed that it was just a problem with the cable. He was sweating profusely from the panic. But he was a professional, after all, and after checking for a long time, he realized that all the other machines were working except for Yushu's machine. He quickly called the boss of the casino, "Casino bro," out of nervousness. "Gamble bro, bad news. There's a problem with one of the slot machines." The man said urgently. "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Gamble bro had just left the Sky Room 1 and was still in shock. He didn't think that it was a big deal when he heard that there was a problem with the slot machine. "Can't you get someone to fix it if there's a problem? It's just a slot machine." "No, Gamble bro, it's like this. Someone calculated the pattern of the slot machine." The man explained quickly and told Gamble bro about Yushu's situation. He then said with a sad face, "Now, the slot machine suddenly stopped working, and I can't change the results of her bets. The machine has already spat out tens of millions of chips, and if this continues, we'll lose our money." "What? Why didn't you say so earlier? Motherfucker, I'll bring someone over right now." Gamble bro sweated when he heard that the slot machine had spat out tens of millions of chips. He quickly called a few security guards over to the surveillance room. Gambler bro, on the other hand, frowned when he saw Yushu continue to win money in the video. Gamble bro had been in this casino for many years, and he could tell with one look that Yushu wasn't cheating. She had an extremely high IQ, and had used some kind of exquisite calculation method to calculate the results of the slot machine. But this type of person was also the hardest to deal with in the casino, because there was no way to find any evidence of her cheating. Usually, when someone like this appeared, the casino would take measures to interfere with the results of the slot machine, forcing the expert to back off. If it was a bet with someone else, the casino would hire a gambling consultant to watch the fight. As for Zhu Qisho, he had also come to challenge the casino. Not only did he win against the casino's gambling consultant, but he also won 20 million yuan from Gambling Bro. Although he only got 10 million after the incident, it made Gambling Bro very sullen and disgraced him. After all, Zhu Qisho was the famous king of gamblers in Harbor City. He even had a mystic stage master as his bodyguard. Brother Zhu Qisho didn't dare to use force. Asking for 10 million was already giving him a lot of face. Of course, this was also because Zhu Qisho was an insider and knew to leave some leeway when doing things. This time, Gambling Bro had invited Pu Huati to challenge Zhu Qisho in order to wash away his shame. He didn't expect that Pu Huati would be killed before he could even fight. "Let's go take a look." Gambling Bro looked at the two youthful and beautiful gambling experts on the screen. He was a little confused. Where did these two people come from? If he was the gambling king, why hadn't he heard of him before? But no matter what, Brother Gamble couldn't let her continue to win. If this continued, he would go bankrupt. Because of his daughter's kidnapping, he was blackmailed out of 20 million. Seeing that Yushu was about to win 20 million, he wanted to die. With a few security guards in tow, Gambling Bro went straight to Yushu's slot machine on the first floor. "But I won again. My chips are over 20 million. Yushu cried out in joy. "Ahem. Shu, we might be in trouble." Meng Yao frowned as she reminded Yushu as she looked at the aggressive security guards surrounding them. But Meng Yao wasn't too worried. If worst comes to worst, they could just give up the chips and take back the money they lost. The casino wanted money, and with so many customers around, they couldn't be violent. "Oh." Yushu stopped her bet and looked around. She frowned as well. "Beautiful miss, let me introduce myself. I'm the owner of this casino. People call me Gambling Bro." Gambling Bro said directly. "The slot machine in front of you has a malfunction, causing the system to malfunction. It's spitting out chips non-stop, but these don't count." Yushu hesitated. She was usually arrogant and fearless because of Lin Yi, but Lin Yi wasn't there. She wasn't an idiot, and naturally, she wouldn't start a fight with this many security guards. But Yushu's eyes lit up as she said arrogantly, "Gambling Bro? You're saying that you can't pay up, so you're trying to find an excuse to say that the slot machine is broken? Miss, if that's how you want to interpret it, then there's nothing I can do." Gambling Bro said faintly with a shrug. "But to make up for your losses, I've given each of you a 1 million yuan red packet. Take it and leave." 2 million? Do you think I'm a beggar? I won 20 million. Yushu didn't let it go. So Meng Yao pulled on Shu's arm, signaling her not to overdo it. Relax, Yao Yao, Shield Bros here. Yushu whispered into Meng Yao's ear. Oh. Meng Yao smiled bitterly. No wonder Shu was so stubborn, she had someone to back her up. Lin Yi was worried about Meng Yao and Yushu, and this wasn't the best place to recover his qi. Lin Yi stood up after healing his organs and meridians. As for the qi he'd lost and the other injuries, Lin Yi planned to recover slowly when he got back. Boss, are you all right? Chen Tian had been paying attention to Lin Yi the whole time. He asked when Lin Yi stood up. Boss? Jishan and Jihai looked at Lin Yi, concerned. I'm fine. Lin Yi nodded and stretched his body. Let's go. Thank you for coming in time and keeping Pu Huoti here. This is Pu Huoti? Chen Tian asked as he looked at the corpse on the ground. You know Pu Huoti? Lin Yi was surprised. Southeast Asia's gambling king. I heard he came to Donghai recently. I didn't expect him to be killed by us. Chen Tian said casually. Right, boss, the boss from before is here. After all, the forces in Southeast Asia were too far away for Chen Tian. No matter what, they wouldn't come looking for trouble on a large scale. Even if Pu Huotiai's sect was pissed, there was nothing they could do. Chapter 2375. With that, Lin Yi walked over to Chen Shi's sofa to check on her, but very quickly, Lin Yi calmed down. Chen Shi was just drugged with sleeping pills and fainted, nothing serious. Lin Yi carried Chen Shi and nodded to Old Pai and the others, indicating that they could leave together. Lin Yi was carrying a girl, the front of his shirt covered in blood, and behind him were 5 bodyguards. It was a strange combination, but the security guards all lowered their heads, not daring to look at Lin Yi and the others. This was probably the result of Gamble Bro's warning. Naturally, Gamble Bro didn't want to offend this group of people. Any one of them could tear his casino apart, and so Gamble Bro had told the security guards not to do anything. When they reached the first floor, Lin Yi raised an eyebrow when he saw Gamble Bro and a group of security guards surrounding Meng Yao and Yushu. Lin Yi didn't think that Meng Yao and Yushu would be in trouble. After all, he was here to cause trouble, and no one should be able to link it to Meng Yao and Yushu. Could it be that Gamble Bro saw the recording? But that couldn't be. If Gamble Bro knew how powerful they were, why would he dare to make things difficult for them? But when Lin Yi walked closer and heard the conversation between Yushu and Gamble Bro, he understood immediately. So Yushu won some money, and Gamble Bro didn't want to honor his winnings. This made Lin Yi think that Gamble Bro was looking for a beating. How much did Yushu win for Gamble Bro to show up personally? Miss, Gamble Bro, run a casino, and naturally, I have the capital to do so. We welcome customers to come here to win money, but do you think you could win that much with 20 million chips in front of you by playing a slot machine? Gamble Bro knew that Yushu had noticed the pattern, but he didn't say so. Instead, he blamed it on the machine malfunctioning. Other customers, take a look. Has anyone won more than 20 million with this slot machine? As soon as Brother Gamble said that, the customers who had some doubts about his behavior now understood a little. Indeed, those who had played slot machines before knew that it was possible to win a small amount of money with this thing, but to win a lot of money, especially more than 20 million in one go. Was that even possible? It was possible that the slot machine had malfunctioned. Therefore, no one doubted Brother Gamble's words this time. Instead, they felt that Brother Gamble was very benevolent. Logically speaking, if the machine malfunctioned, the chips that they won would be considered invalid. However, Brother Gamble actually took out 2 million as compensation. It was not bad. You know very well whether you can win or not. Yushu said, ignoring Gamble Bro. She waved at someone not far away. Shield Bro. There are people surrounding Shu and Yao Yao sis. Come and save us. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and touched his nose, but he still walked towards the crowd. However, when he saw Lin Yi walking over, Gamble Bro felt as if he was shocked by a high-voltage electricity. His whole body was like a wooden chicken. There were 2 reasons why he was shocked. First, wasn't Lin Yi dead? How did he come back to life? Second, behind Lin Yi, there was Old Pai and a group of people. These people were following behind Lin Yi. They seemed like Lin Yi's follower. This way, Lin Yi stood out, but Gamble Bro was even more afraid. Because Yushu called out Lin Yi. This person just killed Pu Huoti and Pu Laolu. He also had a sky-class follower. This person was unimaginably strong. He couldn't offend him even if he was beaten to death. Gamble Bro wanted to cry. Was money more important or his life more important? If he knew that this girl in front of him was under this guy, he wouldn't have come down to cause trouble. He saw that Lin even dared to kill the hidden house Zhao and Pu Huati. It was obvious that killing Gamble Bro wasn't difficult at all. Is the machine broken? Lin Yi walked over and looked at Gamble Bro. He asked faintly, "Old Pai, can you fix it for him?" "It's not broken. There's no need to fix it." Gamble Bro saw Old Pai take a step forward and walked over. He was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Sky Class? Asking a Sky Class to fix his machine? It was more like fixing his Gamble Bro. If he still couldn't hear the displeasure in Lin Yi's words, then he would have wasted all his time in this world. If it's not broken, then what are you doing here? Lin asked back. Right, I saw that this lady won a lot of money. I was afraid that someone might rob her, so I brought some security guards to protect her. That's it. Brother Gamble had an idea and quickly said, "Is that so?" Lin Yi naturally knew that Gamble Bro was talking nonsense. "Of course, miss, you can continue to play." Gamble Bro's heart was bleeding. If he continued to play, he would go bankrupt. "Forget it, it's boring." "Shield Bro, you seem to be hurt? Are you alright?" Yushu said, not interested in playing anymore after seeing Lin Yi covered in blood. "I'm fine. Let's go home if we don't want to." Lin Yi didn't want to stay in the casino any longer. He wanted to go back and recover his chi as soon as possible. Okay. Yushu, too, could tell that Lin Yi's injuries weren't light. She stopped playing and turned to Gamble Bro. "Convert the chips to cash and transfer them to me." Gamble Bro couldn't help but smile bitterly. "Miss, our casino doesn't have that much cash right now. Can you give us a few more days?" Gamble Bro's arrogance was gone, and he was now careful. This made the bystanders look at him with disdain. They all understood that Gamble Bro was just a bully before, and now he was afraid of these people. He didn't dare argue with them anymore, and could only cash out his chips. It seemed like he was still trying to cheat. No money? A casino as big as yours doesn't even have 20 million in cash? Yushu naturally didn't believe it. "I'm not going to hide it from you. My daughter was kidnapped and I was extorted 20 million yuan by the kidnappers. I really can't come up with so much money in a short time. Do you think you can give me a month? 1 month is enough." Gamble Bro said helplessly. Why was he so unlucky recently? First his daughter was kidnapped, and now he offended a bunch of practitioners, including a Sky Class. "Alright, how much money do you have now? Transfer it to me first." Lin Yi believed Gamble Bro's words. He had just seen someone get kidnapped, and Lingshan was also solving the case, so Lin Yi didn't force him. "I have 5 or 6 million now." Gamble Bro said gratefully. "Then transfer this first. You can give me the rest when you have money." Lin said. Chapter 2376. Okay. Gambling Bro replied quickly. Lin Yi nodded and left the casino with Meng Yao, Yushu, and Elder Pai. Gambling Bro let out a breath of relief, but what gave him a headache was what to do with Pu Huati and Pu Laoyou's corpses. How was he going to explain this to Pu Huati's right Miao clan? Gambling Bro's head pounded at the thought. What an unlucky year. After Lin Yi got home, he locked himself in his room and entered the jade space, quickly healing the remaining injuries in his body. The pure chi from heaven and earth surged into his body, and through the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, it quickly healed Lin Yi's injured meridians and organs. The injuries this time were very serious, even more serious than when he fought against the bodyguard. When he fought against the bodyguard, Lin Yi wasn't forced into the jade space, but this time, Lin Yi's injuries couldn't be any more serious, and he was forcefully pulled in by the jade space. Just like when he saved Guan Xin, it was an involuntary situation. It was a good thing that the art of dragon mastery could heal the meridians very quickly, so he wasn't too worried. Outside the villa's living room, Meng Yao and Yushu were listening to Qintian's recount of what happened in the room. Of course, most of it was from Gambling Bro and Elder Pai, and he didn't see it with his own eyes. He didn't see the dangerous fight between Lin Yi, Pu Huati, and Pu Laolu either, so Gambling Bro didn't know what happened. He only knew the cause and the result, but he didn't know what happened. Even so, Meng Yao and Yushu were shaken to the core. They didn't think that their random trip to the casino would turn out to be the right decision, saving Qinshi. Meng Yao and Yushu weren't too familiar with Qinshi, but they weren't strangers either. They heard that Hidden House Zhao had given her to Pu Huati as a hostage to lure Lin. Both of them were furious. Yao sis, this Hidden House Zhao is too evil. They want to get someone else to do their dirty work. Shu cursed Zhao Guangyin and Zhao Qibing to be struck by lightning, Yushu said angrily. It's all in the past. Shu, don't worry about it. Lin Yi will take care of it. Meng Yao was calmer. Lin Yi was dealing with the Hidden House Zhao. Perhaps he would have to make a move sooner or later, but now was definitely not the time. In the room, Lin Yi's injuries were mostly healed, and he was replenishing the true qi in his body. Soon, the pure spiritual qi in the jade space was converted into true qi by the art of dragon mastery, flowing into Lin Yi's meridians and finally into his dantian. Gradually, the true energy within Lin Yi's body was becoming more and more abundant. However, it showed no signs of stopping as it continued to grow. This feeling immediately made Lin Yi happy. This feeling was all too familiar to Lin Yi. This was the sign before every breakthrough. This feeling was the sign of touching the barrier of the level. Lin Yi didn't dare to be careless at this moment. He gathered his thoughts and focused again, speeding up the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, using it as an opportunity to break through. The pure spiritual qi flowed into Lin Yi's meridians through his meridians through Lin Yi's meridians. Under the conversion of the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, it turned into waves of true qi circulating in Lin Yi's meridians. It was about to fill his entire body. Lin Yi, on the other hand, gritted his teeth and continued to use the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. He continued to absorb the pure spiritual qi of heaven and earth. He wanted to break through the barrier in one go. However, it didn't last long. Lin Yi clenched his teeth and persisted for about 15 minutes. The energy was no longer absorbed into his body. No matter how Lin Yi used the chant, he couldn't absorb any more true qi. Sigh. Lin Yi sighed. He knew he couldn't do it anymore. He could only stop and let out a light sigh, feeling a little regretful. This time, he was injured, healed, and recovered his true qi. It was a very good opportunity to break through the barrier. Lin Yi had been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, but in the end, he still failed. However, Lin didn't want to give up this golden opportunity. After a short rest, he began to use the second stage of the art of dragon mastery again, trying to break through for the second time. This time, Lin Yi used a more extreme method, using the method of absorbing and compressing energy to break through. Since the normal method of breaking through did not work, then Lin Yi could only try to break through by force. Thus, Lin Yi used the art of dragon mastery, gathering all the energy in the space of the jade pendant around him, and began to compress the energy around him. This was a last resort. Lin Yi didn't want to give up just like that, so he could only try to break through by force. Not far away, Jiao Lao looked at Lin Yi and shook his head. He was already somewhat indifferent to Lin Yi's madness. From his point of view, as long as Lin Yi didn't die, it was fine. The pain was also self-inflicted. He was already used to it. Lin Yi took a deep breath and absorbed the compressed energy into his body. In an instant, Lin Yi's face suddenly turned red, showing an unhealthy expression. The compressed energy in Lin Yi's body was released in an instant. Lin Yi only felt like he was a balloon that was about to burst. His whole body was like a balloon, bulging up and down uncomfortably. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels felt like they were compressed together, squeezed to the point where there was no space at all. Lin Yi screamed in agony as beads of sweat rolled down his determined face. He couldn't help but scream in agony as he felt like he was about to explode from the excruciating pain. Finally, Lin Yi couldn't take it anymore. He spat out a mouthful of blood. His whole body felt like it was about to explode, and there was a boom in his head. However, what Lin Yi couldn't accept was that he could endure the pain, but he couldn't break through. This was what made him very depressed. Almost just a little bit more. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and complained in a very depressed manner, "Jiao Lao, I almost broke through." Above Earth class, you can't forcefully break through by compressing your vital energy. If you continue to try, won't it just increase the pain? Jiao Yazi looked at Lin Yi and shook his head. There's a saying, more haste, less speed. You're still a little bit away from breaking through. I'm afraid it's not possible for you to break through by force. I can't break through today? Lin Yi asked a little unwillingly. Breaking through today isn't very realistic, Jiao Yazi said. AI, after this time, I'm afraid it won't be easy to encounter such an opportunity again. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Now that his injuries were healed, it was a good opportunity. Chapter 2377. His meridians had just been repaired, and they were still very resilient. They hadn't stabilized yet, and it was perfect for forcefully breaking through. After a few more days, it would be even more difficult to break through. Then try again. Jiao Yazi didn't try to persuade Lin Yi anymore. He knew Lin Yi's personality. He was the type of person who would try as long as there was a sliver of hope. Lin Yi quickly repaired the parts of his meridians that were damaged by the chi bomb before continuing to compress the energy bomb, starting the second attempt. Boom! The second attempt to compress his true chi failed. Boom! The third attempt to compress his true chi failed. Boom! The 10th attempt to compress his true chi failed. Lin Yi felt a sense of defeat. Could it be that he was too impatient? Just a little bit more and he could break through, but it was this little bit that kept Lin Yi at Earth class mid-phase. I don't want to give up. Lin Yi roared furiously. Yes, he really didn't want to give up. He was just a little bit away from breaking through to Earth class mid-phase peak, but because of that little bit, he couldn't break through. He had already controlled the amount of energy he could compress to the limit. Any more and it would explode outside his body. If Lin Yi took in a little more qi, or if his practitioner's arts circulated a little faster, he would be able to break through in the same amount of time, but wait. Faster practitioner's arts? Lin Yi suddenly remembered something important. Wu Chentian. Lin Yi came back to reality from the jade space and called out to the living room outside. Boss, what's wrong? Chentian quickly ran over and pushed open the door to Lin Yi's room. You and Yao Yao, go get Wang Xinyan. Lin Yi quickly ordered, hurry up, it's urgent. I need her urgently, it'll be too late if we're late. Chentian froze. Wasn't the boss a little too horny? Did he need Wang Xinyan urgently? However, when he saw the anxious and solemn expression on Lin Yi's face, he did not dare to ask too much. He quickly nodded and said, okay, I'll go now. Lin Yi's voice wasn't soft at all, and Meng Yao and Yushu heard it as well. They looked at each other strangely, shocked by Lin Yi's words as well. Lin Yi wouldn't have gone crazy again, would he? Yao Yao, is Shield Bro in heat? Yushu said in surprise. Shu, Lin Yi's acting weird, let's go find Xinyan. Meng Yao understood Lin Yi's personality. If Lin Yi really needed a woman after going crazy, he would have gone straight to Shu or even her. There was no need for him to go to Wang Xinyan. After all, Meng Yao thought that Xinyan might become Lin Yi's girlfriend. But at least the two of them weren't really in a relationship other than an ambiguous one. So, with Lin Yi's personality, he wouldn't go to bed with Xinyan. There was no way he was going to get Wang Xinyan to sleep with him. There had to be something else. Oh, okay. Yushu nodded. She was just saying it casually. She wouldn't mess around or joke at a critical moment like this. She hurried out of the villa with Chentian and ran to the car. Elder Pai, you guys protect the boss. I'll go with Yao Yao and the others. Chentian said quickly. Okay, don't worry, we're here. Elder Pai patted his chest. He had a sky class with him, and as long as it wasn't a troublesome enemy, he would be able to handle it. Chentian nodded. He quickly got into the jeep in the yard, and Meng Yao and Yushu got in as well. The three of them rushed to school. Wang Xinyan should be in the dorm at this time. It was Sunday. It was afternoon, and even the students who had gone home were back in their rooms. Plus, Wang Xinyan didn't seem to be home during the weekend. Her parents seemed to be very busy. Meng Yao and Yushu knew where Xinyan's dorm was. Chentian parked the car downstairs, and Meng Yao and Yushu rushed up and knocked on Xinyan's door. It wasn't Xinyan who opened the door, but another girl from Xinyan's dorm, Chai Shaoling, Zhao Xingji's girlfriend. Meng Yao and Yushu had gone to the Tiger Lion Park with her before, and they'd had a meal together. Yao Yao Shu? Are you here for Xinyan? Shaoling could guess why Meng Yao and Yushu were here. She and he Meiyue knew Meng Yao and Yushu, but they didn't interact much with them. Xinyan was the only one who seemed to have a good relationship with them. Shaoling was very curious sometimes. Meng Yao and Yushu seemed to have some kind of relationship with Lin Yi, and so did Xinyan. The three of them seemed to be very close at the same time. It was weird. "And where's Xinyan?" Meng Yao said hurriedly. Because Lin Yi's tone was very, very urgent, it must have been a big problem, and so Meng Yao didn't dare to be slow. She didn't bother greeting Shaoling politely and asked directly. "Xinyan's in the shower, what's wrong? What's wrong?" Shaoling was curious why Meng Yao was in such a hurry. "Shower?" Meng Yao blinked. She didn't expect Xinyan to be in the shower at this time. She was in a difficult position. "How long has she been in the shower?" "About 5 minutes, right?" Shaoling was even more confused about why Meng Yao was in such a rush. "What happened?" Meng Yao didn't know how to explain it, and she was in a dilemma. Yushu, on the other hand, charged into Xinyan's dorm room and pulled up a sheet from what looked like Xinyan's bed before rushing into the bathroom. "Who's there?" Xinyan screamed when she saw someone opening the bathroom door. She didn't hear Meng Yao and Yushu coming to the dorm because of the shower, so she jumped when Shu opened the door. This was a girl's room, and boys weren't allowed to enter. Xinyan didn't lock the door, but under normal circumstances, roommates wouldn't open the door. Xinyan breathed a sigh of relief when she saw it was Yushu, but at the same time, she was puzzled. What was Yushu doing here? "Xinyan sis, come with us. Shield bro needs you." With that, Yushu turned off the shower and covered Xinyan with the bedsheet. She wrapped Xinyan up like a mummy and pushed her out of the room. Yushu's eyes lit up as she walked out of the room. Chapter 2378. Too coincidental, ah? What are you talking about? Stop it. Xinyan didn't understand what Yushu was trying to do, and was pushed out of the washroom. "Shield bro really needs you, he's dying, it's too late." Yushu didn't know why Lin Yi was in such a rush to find Xinyan, but she just wanted Xinyan to hurry up. "Dying?" Xinyan was shocked. "What do you mean? What's wrong with him?" It's a long story, come with us," Yushu said as she pushed Xinyan. "Let me put on some clothes first." Xinyan smiled bitterly. "It's too late, Yao Yao, help us." Yushu waved at Meng Yao. Meng Yao didn't want to play around with Yushu, but it'd take a lot of time for Xinyan to put on some clothes. She grabbed a jacket that she suspected to be Xinyan's and draped it over Xinyan's body, pushing Xinyan out with Yushu. Xinyan didn't know what to do. If she didn't know that Meng Yao and Yushu couldn't be kidnappers, she would have thought that she was kidnapped again. But looking at how worried they were, Lin Yi must have really made a mistake. Xinyan didn't insist, and just like that, she was pushed out of the room with the jacket wrapped around her, and went downstairs. It wasn't to the extent of exposing herself, since she was wrapped tightly in the sheet, but it still attracted a lot of weird looks from her classmates. But Xinyan didn't have anything to explain, and just followed Meng Yao and Yushu out of the girls' dorm, getting into the jeep. Chen Tian was surprised to see Xinyan dressed like this, but he didn't say anything. He started the car and drove back to the villa in the Shueshang district. "Now, can you guys tell me what happened to Linny?" Xinyan was a little troubled. What the hell was she doing with her naked body wrapped in a sheet? She looked like a mistress who got caught in the act. "We don't know either." Meng Yao shrugged apologetically. Xinyan paused. "If you guys don't know, then why did you make me come out in such a hurry?" Lin Yi ran into an enemy and got heavily injured. He's been recovering in his room since he got home, but he suddenly called Wu Chintian over, saying that he really needs you. He wants us to bring you over immediately. Meng Yao explained. "That's it. We don't know why he's looking for you, but he seems to be in a hurry." "Is that so?" Xinyan blinked, but something seemed to have dawned on her. Could it be that Lin Yi's healing had failed, and he needed her sent to help him? Xinyan blushed at the thought. Xinyan sis, you have to be careful. Shield bro might be in heat, Yushu said. Ah. Xinyan's face turned even redder at the thought of what she was wearing. It was embarrassing enough having Lin Yi sniff her scent while he healed, and now she wasn't wearing anything at all. Yushu thought that Xinyan believed her when she saw the blush. She smiled mischievously. Xinyan sis, now that you're Shield bro's woman, you have to get along well with Yao Yao sis. Don't bully her. ? Xinyan didn't know what Shu was talking about, not understanding what was going on. Shu, don't talk nonsense. What does this have to do with me? Meng Yao glared at Yushu. I'm just worried that Yao Yao sis will get bullied in the future. We're alone. Yushu mumbled but didn't continue. It didn't take long for the car to arrive at the villa's entrance. Meng Yao and Yushu dragged Xinyan into the villa, pushing her into Lin Yi's bedroom without caring if she wanted to or not. Shu even pulled off Xinyan's jacket and pushed her onto Lin Yi's bed before quickly closing the door with Meng Yao. Heh. Yushu smiled mischievously. Yao Yao, you've achieved your goal. What do you mean my goal? Meng Yao had been trying to get Lin Yi and Xinyan together, but now that it was over, she felt a little uncomfortable. It was as if someone had stolen something from her. It was a complicated feeling. It's nothing. Yushu surprisingly stopped messing around. Xinyan sis is a good person, she doesn't have any bad intentions. You'll get along well with Yao Yao sis in the future, I'm not worried. What? Meng Yao blinked, not understanding what Yushu was saying. It's nothing. Yushu shook her head before resuming her smile. Detective Shu 007, go check if Shield bro did push Xinyan sis down. With that, Yushu put her ear to Lin Yi's door. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had been compressing the energy bomb, waiting for Wang Xinyan's arrival before breaking through the barrier in one go. Now that Wang Xinyan was here, it was only natural that he started preparing to break through the barrier. Xinyan jumped at the sight of the blood on Lin Yi's body, not knowing what to do. Come closer to me. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Xinyan's situation. Xinyan was wrapped in a bedsheet, and there were water stains on her hair. She'd been showering when Meng Yao and Yushu brought her back forcefully. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Yeah. Xinyan replied softly. She was a little embarrassed, but Lin Yi was in such a pitiful state that she didn't dare tarry. Her body trembled as she moved closer to Lin Yi, her heart pounding, her face red as well. It wasn't the first time she'd been intimate with Lin Yi, after all. They'd slept together during military training, and Xinyan always tried to get close to Lin Yi with less clothes on during class. But today was a little different. Meng Yao and Yushu were outside, after all, and Xinyan couldn't bring herself to do that. They probably thought that Lin Yi wanted to sleep with her, didn't they? Xinyan's face was as red as blood at the thought. The aroma on Xinyan's body was like a shot of adrenaline into Lin Yi's body, and with the help of the bomb, Lin Yi's chi reached its peak. Lin Yi quickly channeled the art of dragon mastery. He could clearly feel that he was about to break through. Chapter 2379. Lin Yi started channeling the chant of the art of dragon mastery crazily. Lin Yi's body was covered in sweat, as if he was in a steamer. His expression was one of pain and agony. Come closer. Lin Yi felt that he was so close to success. Oh, okay. Xinyan subconsciously moved her body closer to Lin Yi. Her whole body was about to be pressed against Lin Yi's body. This made Xinyan even more embarrassed. It wasn't like the two hadn't been close before during the military training, but it was different now. Xinyan only had a sheet on her. Just a little more. Can you remove the sheet a little more? Lin Yi felt that this was a little too much, but at this moment, Lin Yi had no choice but to do this. He didn't want to give up. He was at the barrier of the middle phase peak. Just a little more and he'd be able to break through. I'm inside. Xinyan wanted to say that she wasn't wearing anything underneath, but she saw the look on Lin Yi's face. She was scared that she'd delay Lin Yi's recovery. She didn't care anymore. She'd seen everything during the military training anyway, now wouldn't make a difference. And so, Xinyan made up her mind and removed the sheet on her body, pressing her whole body on Lin Yi's body. Lin Yi felt a fragrant and soft body fall into his arms. His lower body suddenly heated up, but Lin Yi knew that this wasn't the time to think about other things. He quickly focused his mind and channeled the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. Boom! Lin Yi felt the fragrance on Xinyan's body fusing with the pure qi in his body, forming a ball of heat that rushed into his dantian and spread out. That heat wave split into countless small streams of pure qi, spreading through his meridians and nourishing them. He broke through. He had finally broken through. Lin Yi was overjoyed. The breakthrough this time was a bumpy one, but the result was good. Wang Xinyan, on the other hand, was a big part of the credit. If it weren't for her, he wouldn't have been able to break through today. But when he thought of Wang Xinyan, the joy in Lin Yi's heart was extinguished by awkwardness. How was he supposed to face Wang Xinyan? Lin Yi didn't open his eyes, but his perception in the jade space allowed him to feel everything around him even more clearly than seeing it with his own eyes. Looking at Xinyan's naked body, Lin Yi suppressed the urge in his heart, feeling a little troubled. This time, they were in big trouble. In the past, it was all a misunderstanding. But this time, could it still be considered a misunderstanding? How was he supposed to explain this to Xinyan? How would he face her in the future? Lin Yi suddenly had a headache. He really didn't think that Wang Xinyan would be brought here by Meng Yao and Yushu in a situation like this. If Xinyan hadn't taken a shower, he could have just unbuttoned her shirt like usual, but this time, there was nothing under the bedsheet. Lin Yi was in an awkward situation, but it seemed that Xinyan was in an even more awkward situation. Although her body was pressed against Lin Yi, her breathing was rapid, and her face was frighteningly red. She didn't dare move at all, her body frozen on the bed, her eyes closed, and she just lay there like an idiot. Sigh. Lin Yi sighed. If he were to open his eyes and talk to her right now, both of them would be in an awkward situation. After all, Lin Yi and Wang Xinyan had a little something going on between them, but it wasn't to the point where they were naked. And so, Lin Yi made a quick decision. He'd pretend to be asleep for now, pretending not to know anything. Letting Xinyan leave on her own was probably the best solution. Otherwise, Lin Yi really wouldn't know how to face Xinyan. At that thought, Lin Yi's breathing became even. Lin Yi had been on many special missions before, and it was very easy for him to pretend to be asleep. Others wouldn't be able to see through it. As expected, Xinyan waited for a long time, her body stiff beside Lin Yi, not daring to move or look at Lin. Suddenly, she heard Lin Yi's even breathing. She couldn't help but be startled. After listening carefully for a while, she realized that Lin Yi seemed to have fallen asleep. Xinyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that Lin Yi really was asleep, but she had to admit that this was the best possible outcome for her. She didn't have to face Lin Yi awake, and she wouldn't feel awkward. But in her heart, she was still a little disappointed. Who was asleep? Didn't he know that she was lying naked beside him? Did he not have any sexual interest for her? Did he just fall asleep like that? A girl's thoughts were always contradictory. On one hand, she was afraid of the awkwardness, but on the other, she was a little annoyed. Did Lin Yi not care about her? In that moment of hesitation, Xinyan wrapped herself in the bedsheet and put on a cotton coat. She quietly opened Lin Yi's door and left. Lin Yi, on the other hand, didn't open his eyes, but he could clearly see what was going on outside. Looking at the beautiful Xinyan beside him, especially the naked Xinyan, Lin Yi almost had a nosebleed. Fortunately, he'd vomited too much before, and he didn't have enough blood left in him. Phew! Lin Yi waited until Xinyan left the room before letting out a long breath, suppressing the excitement in his heart. This excitement was the excitement of seeing Xinyan's naked body, and the joy of leveling up to Earth class mid-phase peak. Lin kid, I didn't think you'd use this method to level up. How shameless. Jiao Yazi said with disdain. Heh, Jiao Lao, I had no other choice. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Never mind, but congratulations, you found a new way to level up. Jiao Yazi said. Ah. Lin Yi started laughing like an idiot. Xinyan let out a yelp when she opened the door, because she bumped into Shu, who was standing at the door. She didn't expect Yushu to be eavesdropping at the door. Why you here? Oh, I was just worried about Shield Bro, so I came to check up on him. Yushu was a little embarrassed that she was caught eavesdropping. Oh, Xinyan sis, your chest is pretty big too, a little bigger than Yao Yao sis. Xinyan was speechless. What was she talking about? She blushed, but for some reason she said, not as big as you. Chapter 2380. Didn't you hear it already? Xinyan didn't know what to do with the curious Yushu. Alright, do you have any clothes? Can you help me find some? Why do I look so weird like this? Xinyan wasn't like this right now, but she couldn't just walk around in a bed all the time, could she? It was just too weird. I've found some for you, Xinyan. Go upstairs and change, we're about the same size. You should be able to wear my clothes. Mengyao had expected this to happen. She'd prepared a new set of clothes in the bedroom upstairs. Thanks. Xinyan nodded to Mengyao. We're the ones who should be thanking, it's all thanks to you. Lin Yi's my friend too, it's nothing. Xinyan shook her head and quickly followed Mengyao upstairs. Chintian, Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, and even Elder Pai and Gonggao were all very curious as to why Lin Yi was looking for Xinyan, but it wasn't their place to ask. They could only pretend that they didn't know anything. Pho! Xinyan stumbled onto Mengyao's bed the moment she got there, her face red as if she'd lost all her strength. Her heart was pounding like it was going to jump out of her chest at any moment. Oh, Xinyan sis, did that feel good? Can you share it with us? Yushu asked sneakily as she followed Xinyan into the bedroom. What? Xinyan hadn't recovered from her nervousness. She jumped at Yushu's question. What did it feel like? It's the feeling of asterisk asterisk. Wasn't Shield Bro looking for you to asterisk asterisk? Yushu said as she looked Xinyan up and down, trying to find a flaw in her. Xinyan understood what Yushu was saying. It seemed like she'd been misunderstood. But anyone would think too much about it, since Lin Yi said that he needed her. It was normal for Yushu to think the wrong things. But she didn't know how to explain it. She didn't know if Lin Yi was a secret, and she didn't know if she could tell Mengyao and Yushu. Shoo, stop guessing, there's nothing going on between Xinyan and Lin. Xinyan didn't look like she'd just been pushed down at least. Xinyan was walking normally, and she'd be in Lin Yi's room right now if she'd been pushed down. She wouldn't be running out of the room in such a hurry. Oh. Yushu was just joking, 'cause Mengyao didn't want her to ask too much. Xinyan sis, what Shield Bro was looking for you for? I think we should wait for Lin Yi to come out and let him tell you guys. I don't know if I can tell him. Xinyan said, troubled. Okay, we'll wait for Lin Yi then. Mengyao could tell that Xinyan had something she couldn't talk about, so she stopped asking. I've prepared the clothes, but you didn't finish showering, right? The bathroom in the room can be used for showering. You go first, I'll go downstairs with Shu. Okay, thanks. Xinyan nodded, relieved that Mengyao wasn't going to press her for more information. Mengyao pulled Yushu downstairs, and Xinyan went to the bathroom. She really did need a shower after all. The blood from Lin Yi's body was all over her body, and it was quite scary. Lin Yi changed his clothes and walked out of the room to see Mengyao and Yushu coming downstairs, but Xinyan wasn't there. Yao Yao, Shu, where's Xinyan? She's showering and changing upstairs. Mengyao said, Are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine. It's all thanks to you guys. Lin Yi said with a smile. Right, Shield Bro, why are you looking for Xinyan sis? Yushu asked curiously. Let's talk about that later. This involved Xinyan's privacy, and Elder Pai and the others were in the room. Lin Yi couldn't say much. Oh. Yushu nodded and didn't ask any more questions. After a while, Xinyan came downstairs in a brand new outfit. She paused when she saw Lin Yi in the living room, who was also wearing a new outfit. She opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but didn't know what to say. The atmosphere in the living room was getting awkward all of a sudden. Xinyan. Thank you. Lin Yi looked at Xinyan, overwhelmed with emotions. He wanted to thank her, but didn't know what to say. Recalling the ambiguous atmosphere, Lin Yi couldn't help but feel a headache coming on from where he stood with Xinyan. You're welcome. Xinyan stuttered. She thought that Lin Yi was asleep, and that she'd change her clothes and come downstairs. She'd be able to leave as soon as possible and calm down for the night. Everyone would calm down at school tomorrow, and it wouldn't be too awkward as long as she didn't bring it up on purpose. But she didn't expect Lin Yi to come out so soon and change his clothes as well. She'd only taken a quick shower in the bathroom before putting on her clothes and going downstairs. It didn't take up too much time, so she was sure that Lin Yi wasn't asleep at all. He was just pretending to be asleep. Xinyan felt a little empty and disappointed at the thought. Did he not like her? Otherwise, why would he pretend to be asleep? Wang Xinyan didn't say anything after that. She went silent. Lin Yi, on the other hand, smiled bitterly as he scratched his head. He didn't know what to do. If it was Xiao Xiao or even Shu, Lin Yi could face it calmly, but Xinyan? There was a bit of ambiguity between the two, but it hadn't been made public. But now, be my girlfriend? Lin Yi extended his hand to Xinyan and took a deep breath. He wasn't an irresponsible person, and it wasn't that he didn't like Xinyan. Things had come to this point, and Lin Yi had to do something. It was a little too fast, but Lin Yi felt that it would be unfair to Xinyan if he didn't do something. But he felt sorry for Xiao Xiao. She agreed to let him find a wife, but wasn't this a little too fast? Ah! Xinyan froze. She didn't think that Lin Yi would say something like this after a long silence. Chapter 2381. Xinyan stared at Lin Yi blankly. She'd thought about their relationship before, and she'd thought that things between her and Lin Yi wouldn't work out because of her family and House Kong. She'd been suppressing her feelings for Lin Yi, trying her best not to let things get out of hand with Lin. But while she kept reminding herself to stay calm, she'd done a lot of things she couldn't forgive. Like hugging Lin Yi, watching a movie with Lin Yi, and now she was naked with Lin. She didn't like Xiaolong, and she didn't like the marriage with House Kong, but her family had already agreed to it. She felt like she shouldn't be doing this. It felt like cheating and it made her feel guilty. But Xinyan had to admit that being with Lin Yi was very pleasurable. It was comfortable, and the occasional flirtatious moment, the heartbeat was unforgettable and satisfying. She even wished that she could be the desk mate of Lin Yi forever, never having to graduate, never having to face that marriage. But unconsciously, Xinyan's heart was leaning more and more towards Lin. She was getting more and more rebellious, and she didn't want to think about marriage anymore. But she knew that some things couldn't be changed. She was just lying to herself. When Lin Yi displayed his extraordinary strength, and when she saw Lin Yi's followers getting stronger and stronger, even Elder Pai becoming Lin Yi's follower, Xinyan's heart was filled with anticipation. The common Xiao family's support was the Hidden House Pai, and now that the Hidden House Pai had become Lin Yi's follower, it shouldn't be too hard for Elder Pai to talk to the Xiao family and cancel the marriage, right? But Xinyan didn't think that Lin Yi's confession would come so quickly. It caught her off guard. From her point of view, she should at least break off the engagement before she could be with Lin Yi. Ever since she was young, she had always been an obedient girl, so she always felt that it was a crime to be with Lin Yi without breaking off the engagement. It made her feel a deep sense of guilt. This was also the reason why she was stunned for a moment. She didn't know how to answer Lin Yi. Agree? Don't agree? Xinyan's heart was pounding furiously. She couldn't make up her mind, not knowing what to do. Xinyan was a little taken aback. She really wanted to say yes to Lin Yi, but there were so many people in the room, especially in front of Meng Yao and Yushu. She couldn't bring herself to just nod her head like that. This seemed to be threatening Lin. Did he say that because he wanted to be responsible for himself? Why else would he pretend to be asleep? All of a sudden, Xinyan's heart was a mess. All sorts of things were rushing into her mind, making her feel dizzy. She wanted to run away, but somehow, Xinyan ran out of the villa, disappearing from everyone's line of sight. Lin Yi paused. It was easy for him to stop Xinyan, but if she were to leave now, did that mean she was rejecting him? Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. He didn't know what Xinyan was thinking. Logically speaking, she should have feelings for him, right? Otherwise, why would she help him with his training so many times? For a girl to make a sacrifice like this, it was enough to prove her feelings. But why did she run away all of a sudden? Shield Bro's confession failed. Yushu was a little puzzled. Xinyan seemed to like Lin Yi, so why did it fail? Meng Yao glared at her. At this moment, Lin Yi was in a bad mood after his confession failed. Shu's words were like adding oil to the fire. But she didn't know why, but Meng Yao felt relieved. Was it because Xinyan didn't accept Lin Yi's confession? But why did she feel that it was a pity? Was it because she hoped that Lin Yi and Xinyan could be together? Was it because of his promise to Tang Yun? Old Pai and the others could see the awkwardness in the air as well. It was best if they didn't stay in the villa any longer, it wouldn't look good on Lin. He cleared his throat. Jishan, Jihai, Chintian, Elder Wu, let's go for a stroll, the weather's nice today. Everyone responded, naturally understanding what Old Pai was thinking. It was indeed awkward for them to stay here, so it was best if they left. Lin didn't stop them, but before Chintian walked out, Linny said, look after her, don't let anything happen to her, got it, boss? Chintian understood immediately. Linny didn't say it that clearly, but he knew that Linny wanted him to keep an eye on Xinyan. With a bitter smile, Linny sat on the sofa with Yushu and Meng Yao beside him. Shield bro, you failed at hitting on the girl? Do you need Shu to analyze it for you? Yushu asked. What do you know? Stop analyzing. Meng Yao interrupted. Go get me some water, I'm a little thirsty. Oh. Yushu didn't look like she was unwilling this time. She stood up happily and walked towards the kitchen. Lin Yi, Xinyan's probably a little confused for a moment. It's not that she doesn't want to accept your confession. Meng Yao was more attentive to details, and came to this conclusion after some thought. She wasn't too sure, but she was just trying to comfort him and make him feel better. It's fine, huh? Lin Yi said with a smile. I know, okay, it's good that you know. Don't be too disappointed, Xinyan actually likes you. What happened today was too sudden, I'd probably hesitate if you confessed to me all of a sudden. Of course, if you confess a few more times, I'd probably say yes, okay? Lin Yi nodded, not thinking much about it. Disappointment flashed in Meng Yao's eyes. Did he really get it? He didn't seem to. Yushu came back with a cup of tea and handed it to Lin Yi. Right, shield bro, why were you looking for Xinyan sis? Chapter 2382. The tea's a little hot. Let's drink it later. Yushu said quickly when she saw Lin Yi looking at her strangely. Oh. Lin Yi wasn't in a good mood, so he didn't think too much about it. There's a special scent on Wang Xinyan, I wonder if you guys noticed it? Sit? Meng Yao blinked, but after thinking about it, Xinyan did seem to have a faint scent on her, something that could only be smelled close to her. Meng Yao was sitting next to Xinyan when they went to the Tiger Lion Park, and she did smell it. It was a nice scent that made people feel comfortable and safe. Meng Yao thought that it was perfume, but now that Lin Yi was talking about it, it didn't seem like perfume at all. Meng Yao had used a lot of perfume brands, but this was the first time she smelled it. She nodded. I think so, it smells pretty good. What's wrong? Oh, Shu smelled it too. It really does smell like a fragrant herb. Yushu nodded as well. Yeah, I slept with Xinyan in the barracks during military training, and I found out that this scent can speed up my training. Lin Yi said. My training speed has increased quite a bit recently, and it's all thanks to Xinyan. I get it. You were about to break through the level barrier just now, weren't you? You were just a little bit away from it, and that's why I called Xinyan here. She understood what was going on after hearing Lin Yi's explanation. Yeah, that's it. Lin Yi nodded. I was injured in a fight at the casino, but at the same time, I found an opportunity to break through the barrier. It's just a little bit away, but I can't break through no matter how hard I try. That's why I asked you guys to get Xinyan here. Then, Shield bro, did you break through now? Yushu was very surprised. She didn't think that Lin Yi was looking for Xinyan for this reason. Wasn't this too amazing? Was Wang Xinyan a moving cultivation furnace? Yes, but Wang Xinyan took off the sheets to let her body smell better. So I think I should take responsibility? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. After that, he naturally picked up the teacup on the coffee table and prepared to take a sip of tea. Oh wait. Yushu snatched the teacup from Lin Yi's hands and put it back on the table. It's still pretty hot. Drink it later. ? Lin Yi looked at Yushu strangely, not understanding what was going on. Shu, what are you doing? Meng Yao was confused by Shu's actions as well. She snatched the teacup from Miao's hands. I'll drink first, I'm a little thirsty. Xiao Shu's hand loosened, and the teacup fell to the ground. It broke into pieces, and the tea inside spilled all over the floor. Shu, are you trying to rebel? Mengyao didn't know what to say at the sight of Shu breaking the teacup. Oh. Shu's hand slipped. I'll go clean it up now. Yushu stood up and went to get a broom and mop, as if she'd let out a sigh of relief. Mengyao opened her mouth, but didn't say anything. Why was Shu acting so weird today? Her mind, however, was on Lin. About Xinyan. I'll give her a call later. I have her number, and it's easier for us girls to talk to each other. I'll ask for you? Thanks. Lin Yi said. Yeah. Mengyao looked at Lin Yi, feeling a little emotional. Why hadn't anyone asked for her before? This Shu guy. It didn't take long for Yushu to clean up the broken teacup before mopping the floor. Grandma Sun had been with Faubert for the past couple of days, and Faubert and Pengzhan were both in Donghai dealing with business matters. The housework had fallen on everyone's shoulders. It's done. Yushu sighed in relief as if a huge burden had been lifted off her shoulders. Shu, what's wrong? You don't have a fever today, do you? Why do I feel like something's wrong? Mengyao felt that Yushu wasn't quite herself today. It's nothing, I'm fine, Yushu said. Lin Yi had broken through the level barrier, but there were still a lot of things he needed to think about after today's fight. He nodded to Mengyao and Yushu. I'm going back to my room. I need to work on some martial arts questions, you guys talk. Yeah, okay. Mengyao, on the other hand, hoped that Lin Yi could do something else to distract himself from Xinyan's rejection. Lin Yi went into his room and started thinking about the reason for activating Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw today. There was the previous failure of Spring Rain, but from Lin Yi's perspective, Spring Rain failed because he didn't have a water attribute in his body. Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw, on the other hand, was different. He could activate Mu Linsun's 1,000 transformations with ease, and since he could use sky-splitting claw with fiery fist, it meant that he had no problem activating it. So why did Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw fail? Lin Yi frowned. He couldn't figure it out, so he started using Mu Linsun's 1,000 transformations incantation again, following the method of activating sky-splitting claw. He started activating the first form, Mu Linsun's sky-splitting claw. This time, Lin Yi didn't try to activate the fifth form right away. He tested it with the first form, but the result was tragic. The activation still failed, and it didn't even feel as good as when he activated Spring Rain. Although the activation of Spring Rain from the sky had failed, the initial process was smooth. It was only the final step to release it. However, Mu Linsun's heaven-splitting claw was different. It could not be activated at all. It was as if the mantra and the activation method did not match. How strange. Lin Yi tried again, and after confirming that he couldn't use Mu Linsun's sky-splitting earth-splitting claw, he stopped. There was no point in trying anymore. Chapter 2383. That's right. Lin Yi suddenly thought of a fact. The heaven and earth-splitting claw was a fire attribute martial arts technique, and the frenzied fire fist was also a fire attribute martial arts technique. Therefore, these two martial arts techniques could be combined. By using the mantra of the frenzied fire fist and the activation method of the heaven and earth splitting claw, they could form a new martial arts technique. However, the wood forest 1,000 transformations was different. This was a wood attribute mental cultivation technique, which was different from the fire attribute heaven and earth splitting claw. Therefore, this should be the reason why the two could not be successfully activated when combined. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's mind suddenly lit up. He combined the frenzied fire fist and the wood forest 1,000 transformations and tried to activate them, but it ended in failure. Moreover, regardless of whether Lin Yi combined the mantra of the frenzied fire fist with the wood forest 1,000 transformations or the mantra of the wood forest 1,000 transformations with the frenzied fire fist, they did not succeed. This indirectly proved that Lin Yi's previous guess and judgment were correct. Only martial arts techniques of the same attribute could be combined with each other. Martial arts techniques of different attributes could not be combined. In other words, if Park Laoyo's martial arts technique was not a fire attribute or wood attribute, but a metal attribute, water attribute, or earth attribute martial art technique, Lin Yi would not have been able to imitate it. He definitely would not have been able to activate it. Thinking of this, Lin Yi secretly praised his luck. He was really lucky. Park Lalio's martial arts technique happened to be of the fire attribute. Lin Yi also hit the mark by chance. He directly combined it with the frenzied fire fist that he was most familiar with and successfully activated it. At that time, if Lin Yi had combined the Wood Forest Thousand transformations and failed to activate it, Lin Yi might not have thought so much and given up on experimenting with the frenzied fire fist in a moment of desperation. Then it would have been a disaster. However, when Lin Yi figured this out, a new question arose. That was, why could Taganlong's 5 elements 8 trigrams palm be combined with the frenzied fire fist and the Wood Forest Thousand transformations? What kind of martial skill was this 5 elements 8 trigrams palm? 5 elements? Lin Yi subconsciously twitched his mouth. Could it really belong to the 5 elements? Could it be that this was a martial skill that could be used by all 5 elements? Thinking of this, Lin Yi could not help but secretly click his tongue. This Taganlong was really lucky to actually cultivate such a martial technique. However, Lin Yi suddenly thought of the colorful vital qi on Taganlong's body. Could it be that he had a 5-elemental constitution and was using the 5-elemental vital qi to activate the 5-elemental 8 trigram palm? Thinking about it, it was really possible. If he didn't play, why would the power of his martial arts be so abnormal? If Taganlong really had a 5-elemental constitution and had the 5-elemental vital qi, then the third style of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm should be as powerful as the 15th style of an ordinary high-grade martial arts technique. However, Taganlong obviously did not do it. Of course, this was only a theoretical figure. Although the strength of a martial arts technique had a lot to do with the skill itself, it was also related to the proficiency of the cultivator. For example, when Lin used the frenzied fire fist, his proficiency was higher than Faubert's. Therefore, when Lin Yi used the frenzied fire fist, the first style was equivalent to the power of the second style of an ordinary martial arts technique, and so on. However, Faubert could not do it. Therefore, although Taganlong's martial arts technique was powerful, theory was theory, and reality was reality. It was already very rare for him to be able to unleash the current power. After deducing the power of Taganlong's martial arts technique, Lin Yi was a little covetous. Even if he had a 3-elemental constitution of wood, fire, and metal, if he were to cultivate the 5 elements 8 trigram palm, he should be able to unleash the power of the 15th style in the 5th style. That would be awesome enough. The power was simply heaven-defying. No wonder Taganlong was so strong. However, Lin Yi had cultivated the omnipotent martial arts technique and could master any martial arts technique that could be cultivated. This way, he would definitely be stronger than Taganlong. Phew! Lin Yi let out a long breath and silently recited Taganlong's name. It seemed that when he was strong enough, he should go to the Taganlong family again and steal Taganlong's martial arts technique. That way, he would be invincible when facing even more powerful enemies. Right? Didn't my master, the strange man in heaven rank, say that he was stealing the enemy's cultivation method? If it was really as he said and he could steal the mantra of the 5 elements 8 trigram palm, that would be a good thing. But where was he going to find the strange man in heaven rank? The treasures in the Wulong Haut mountain range had already been taken out, so it was impossible for the heaven-ranked eccentric to return to that mountain range. With his crazy personality and brain, who knew where he might have run off to? It would be extremely difficult to find him. Outside the room, Yushu was sitting on the sofa in a daze. Although her eyes were on the TV, it was obvious that she was absent-minded. "Shu, what's wrong with you? Is there something on your mind?" Meng Yao felt that something was wrong when Shu poured tea for her. She felt that something was wrong with her. Ah! Yushu froze and came back to her senses. "Yao Yao, what did you say?" Meng Yao frowned slightly. "Shu, is there something on your mind? Didn't you hear what I said just now?" No, Shu was too engrossed in the TV just now. Yushu was a little shocked and quickly said with a smile. "Really? Then what was on the TV?" Meng Yao, "The TV." Yushu subconsciously glanced at the TV and said, "Isn't it Pleasant Goat and Big Big Wolf? I just changed the channel." Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was SpongeBob just now. Oh, right, it was SpongeBob. Yushu nodded. I watched SpongeBob yesterday, and it was Pleasant Goat and Big Big Wolf just now. I didn't change the channel. Meng Yao was a little speechless. Shu, what's wrong with you? You're even hiding it from me? Ah? Is that so? Yushu didn't expect Meng Yao to be this cunning, lying to her. She shook her head. It's really nothing. Maybe I overused my brain in the casino today. Really? Meng Yao, naturally, didn't believe Yushu's words. She sighed and lowered her voice. Is it because of Lin? Meng Yao thought about it and couldn't come up with a reason like that. Shu liked Lin Yi, and Yushu had never denied her feelings for him. It was understandable that Shu was in a bad mood after Lin Yi suddenly confessed to Wang Xinyan. Chapter 2384. Whether it was Tang Yun or Xiao Xiao, Yushu didn't really care about them. She acted like a mistress, but in the end, she still became good friends with Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. This time, Wang Xinyan becoming Lin Yi's first wife was Yushu's idea. Was she really unhappy because of this? Meng Yao didn't believe it herself. It was possible to say that Meng Yao wasn't happy, but it didn't seem possible to say that Shu wasn't happy. From the beginning to the end, her only thought was that as long as she could be with Lin Yi, it didn't matter if he was an official girlfriend or not. Even if he was the main wife, she'd be satisfied as a small wife. And so, Meng Yao was puzzled. Why did Shu's personality seem to have changed today? Could it be that she didn't want to be the second wife anymore and her personality exploded? How did you know? Yushu blurted out subconsciously, realizing that she'd let the cat out of the bag. Oh no, I was just using my brain a little too much. I'm a little dizzy. Shu. Meng Yao looked at Yushu sternly. Okay, it's because of Shield Bro, Yushu said helplessly. I'm actually worried about Wang Xinyan. Shu, you don't want Wang Xinyan to be Lin Yi's girlfriend? Meng Yao asked weirdly after hearing Yushu admit it. No. Yushu shook her head. It's not that I don't want to. Yushu's innocent expression only made Meng Yao even more puzzled. She seemed to have misunderstood the situation. Yushu didn't seem to be upset about Xinyan's ascension to the position, but was it because of something else? Meng Yao asked curiously, then what are you worried about? I'm worried that she rejected Shield Bro's confession. Shu wants her to be Shield Bro's first wife so that she can be with Yao Yao in the future, Yushu said. Xinyan sis has a good personality. She'll probably have a good time with Yao Yao when she moves into the villa. Move into the villa? Meng Yao paused. You're telling her to move into the villa? What do you mean by having a good time? What are you talking about? It's nothing. What Shu means is, if Shu dies one day, we can find someone to accompany Yao Yao. Yushu said after some hesitation. How could he die? Why are you talking about these things? Meng Yao looked at Yushu, confused. She glared at her. What's wrong with you today? Nope, I'm just thinking about it. People go through life and death, accidents and disasters. What if I die one of those times? I won't be able to be with Yao Yao anymore. Yushu said. From now on, let Sister Xinyan accompany Sister Yao Yao. What nonsense are you talking about? Meng Yao couldn't understand what Yushu was talking about. She touched Yushu's forehead. You don't have a fever? No, Shu already said it. I'm just sighing just in case. Yushu was back to her usual cheerful self. Shu's just saying in case. So even if we're looking for someone, we'll have to find a sister that Yao Yao can get along with. If Shu dies, there'll be no one to help Yao Yao. Sister Xinyan is a good person, and she's very kind. She can't bully Yao Yao, and she'll definitely give the main wife to Yao Yao. Meng Yao blushed after hearing Yushu's words. She didn't know what to do. Shu, what are you talking about? What are you trying to say? It's nothing. I think we should make a plan for Shield Bro to chase after a beauty. Let Shield Bro get Xinyan sis smoothly. What do you think? Yushu said. Plan for chasing after a beauty? Meng Yao blinked. She looked at Shu for a long time, making sure that she wasn't talking nonsense. You're saying that we should help Lin Yi? Yeah, only Lin Yi and Xinyan sis can get together. Otherwise, I'll be worried. Yushu blinked. Otherwise, I'll be worried. Yushu didn't make it clear what she was worried about. Was it Meng Yao or Lin? What do you want to do? Meng Yao asked after some hesitation. She was quite supportive of Yushu's suggestion. She wouldn't have invited Xinyan to her house if she didn't like her. The kidnapping incident had put the plan on hold, but that didn't stop Meng Yao from wanting Xinyan to be Lin Yi's main wife. Let's go upstairs and think about it. We need to come up with a detailed plan. Yushu said as she pulled Meng Yao upstairs. Xinyan left Lin Yi's villa and hailed a taxi to go back to school. Chen Tian, on the other hand, watched her enter the dorms from afar before leaving with Old Pai and the others. Xinyan's heart was a mess. She didn't think that Lin Yi would confess to her at a time like this. She wasn't ready yet, or more accurately, she hadn't taken care of her own business yet. Would he be unhappy if she rejected him? Xinyan suddenly wondered if it would hurt Lin Yi if she ran away just like that. Should she give him a call and explain things to him? Tell him about her troubles? She had a fiancé, and the engagement hadn't been cancelled yet? Lin Yi should have known about this, but he was confessing to her anymore. Was he trying to embarrass her? Xinyan was a good kid, and she'd always been obedient since she was young. She wasn't too willing when it came to marriage, but with her family's interference, she'd reluctantly agreed. After all, she didn't have anyone she liked. Xiaolong looked like a nice guy on the surface. He was a doctor, and House Kong was a medical family. But when she saw how Xiaolong fawned over Wu Chuntian during their meal in Yanjing, Xinyan felt that Xiaolong wasn't as nice as the rumors made him out to be. He was a bit of a hypocrite, and she didn't have a good impression of him. She didn't say much because of her family. But it was different now. Xinyan had someone she liked, and she didn't want to be tied down by fate. She didn't want to marry Xiaolong anymore. This was the first time in her life that Xinyan felt rebellious. She wanted to overturn her family's decision. She even had the urge to call her parents the moment she got back to the dorms and cancel the engagement with House Kong. Chapter 2385. Yes, she liked Lin. She'd had feelings for Lin Yi before, but she didn't dare face them, didn't dare admit it. She'd lied to herself and told herself that they were just good friends. Until today, when Lin Yi confessed to her. She'd walked out of that self-deception completely. Yes, were she and Lin Yi still good friends? What kind of friends would hug each other all the time? What kind of friends would meet each other? What kind of friends would have their hearts beat faster when they were together? What kind of friends would have their hearts beat faster when they were alone together? No, of course not. Xinyan took in a deep breath. She felt like she had to do something. Xinyan returned to the girls' dorm, and a lot of people looked at her strangely. After all, the scene of her leaving the room in a bedsheet was too shocking, and now that she was back in a new set of clothes, there were still a lot of people who were curious. What was Xinyan doing? But Xinyan, naturally, didn't have the time to care about other people's thoughts. She quickly went back to her room and closed the door. Xinyan, what were you doing just now? Why the rush? Xiaoling asked curiously when she saw Xinyan. If I didn't know Yushu and Meng Yao, I would have thought that you were kidnapped again. It's nothing. Xinyan shook her head. They're just joking. Joking? Xiaoling didn't believe it, but Xinyan didn't want to talk about it. She didn't ask any more. Zhao Xingji and Bai Weidua asked me and Mei Wei out for dinner. Do you want to go? I'm not going, you guys go. When you come back, just bring me a lunchbox from the cafeteria. Xinyan clearly wasn't in the mood to eat. Plus, Xiaoling and Mei Wei were a couple. Why would she go? All right, I'll be going then. Xiaoling nodded and left the room. Xinyan, on the other hand, hesitated for a moment before gritting her teeth and dialing her mother's number. Xinyan, are you feeling better? Xiao Qinlin quickly picked up the phone. Xiao Qinlin was afraid that Xinyan would be in a bad mood after being kidnapped, so she didn't ask about her daughter's boyfriend at school. Now that Xinyan had taken the initiative to call, Xiao Qinlin naturally wanted to have a good talk with her. Her brother had called again, saying that House Kang's Kang Xiaolong was going back to Donghai Industry University to write his doctoral thesis. He wanted Xinyan to get along well with him. Xiao Qinlin didn't think it was appropriate to interfere with her daughter's freedom of love. But the Xiao family was on the verge of collapse, and this was something they had agreed to before, so Xiao Qinlin could only bite the bullet and agree to it first. Xinyan had already planned to tell her mother that she didn't want to marry Xiaolong, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. Xinyan rarely disobeyed her parents. This time, she really didn't know what to say. "What's wrong, Xinyan? What kind of trouble are you in?" Xinyan asked. Xiao Qinlin's heart skipped a beat as she hurriedly asked. "I don't want to marry House Kang's Kong Xiaolong, I want to break off the engagement." Xinyan finally mustered up the courage to say this from the bottom of her heart. She didn't want to be a good girl anymore. She wanted to rebel for once. What? Qinlin froze. She didn't think that her daughter would be the first to tell her the truth. She was waiting for her daughter to be in a good mood before telling her daughter about her relationship with Xiaolong. She heard that Xiaolong was a good guy and he was also a doctor. It wouldn't be a shame for Xinyan to marry him, but she didn't think that Xinyan would want to break off the engagement. "Ma, I'm at school. I have a boyfriend." Xinyan bit her lips and said firmly, "I like him, I want to be with him. I don't want to marry Kong Ming. I don't want to be manipulated by the family. I want to be a bargaining chip for the Xiao family to marry into the rich and powerful." This? Xinyan. Qinlin's heart softened. She didn't think that her daughter would be this determined. Last time in Yanjing, her daughter didn't like Xiaolong and didn't want the marriage, but she still agreed to look around first. But this time, Qinlin could feel her daughter's determination. In the past, although her daughter wasn't willing, she didn't put up such a strong resistance. This time, although her daughter didn't make a fuss, her tone was incomparably firm. So, Xiao Qinlin really didn't know what to say. Especially when she thought of her brother Xiaoji's phone call, Xiao Qinlin felt helpless. "Mom, I'm not being impulsive. I'm very sure that I like him." Xinyan continued. Xiao Qinlin sighed and said, "Actually, I called you this time to talk about the Kong family's engagement. But you said these things first, so I can't say anything more." Mom, what's wrong? Did the Kangs say anything?" Xinyan asked, startled. "Just now, your uncle called me and told me about the Kong family's engagement." Qinlin didn't hide anything. "Your uncle said that House Kang's Xiaolong is going back to Donghai Industry University to write his doctoral thesis. He wants you two to spend some time together." "What? He's here?" Xinyan paused, not expecting Xiaolong to be here. She knew that Xiaolong was a student at Donghai Industry University, but Xiaolong was a PhD student, so he didn't have to stay in school all day. He almost never came to school, and Xinyan didn't have much interaction with him. She didn't expect him to come back at this time. "Xinyan, I understand what you mean. I'll explain it to your uncle. I hope he can cancel the engagement." Qinlin sighed. "Ever since you were kidnapped, your dad and I have become less concerned about business. Nothing is more important than you. Your dad and I were even thinking of selling the company to the kidnappers for ransom, so we think that we can give up on these worldly possessions. As long as you're happy, that's enough. The Xiao family and House Kong won't be able to threaten us anymore." "Thank you, Mom." Xinyan sniffled. She didn't expect her mother to say something like that. Xinyan wasn't stupid. She could guess the consequences of canceling the engagement. Her father's company might be attacked by both House Kong and Xiao family. But then she thought of Lin Yi, and her heart was filled with hope. "He's my boyfriend, and he has a lot of connections in Donghai. He knows people from the Hidden House Pie. They're working under Lin Yi right now. Rejecting House Kong won't affect your business." Chapter 2386. What? The Hidden House Pie works for Lin Yi? Qinlin wasn't a stranger to Lin Yi's name. Ling Shan and Meng Yao had both mentioned him back in the police station, but she never would have thought that the Hidden House Pie worked for Lin Yi. Wasn't the Hidden House Pie the support of the Xiao family? How did they become Lin Yi's men? With that, Wang Xinyan's marriage would be settled, wouldn't it? Qinlin let out a breath of relief at the thought. "Back then, I was saved by the Hidden House Pie's elder Pie, but I didn't tell you or Dad because I wanted to keep it a secret." Xinyan couldn't hide it any. She needed to take out some chips for her own happiness. "Does that so? I see." Xiao Qinlin sighed and said, "Okay, I'll call your uncle now and tell him about the situation." "Okay, thank you, Mom." Xinyan knew that things were going to work out, and she was happy. But Qinlin's predictions seemed to be a bit off. After she told Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben about it, they were shocked for a moment, but Xiao Ben didn't give a clear answer. He only said that he needed to discuss it with his brother first before making a decision. This surprised Qin Lin, but she didn't say anything. She waited quietly for her brother's reply. After hanging up, Xiao Ben's eyebrows furrowed. Xiao Ji, on the other hand, was an impatient man. Brother, if Lin Yi is the Hidden House Pie's boss, then he's our backer's backer. There's no harm in getting on good terms with him. Why don't you agree to cancel the marriage? Cancel the marriage? You want our Xiao family to be Lin Yi's lackeys? Xiao Ji, I think you're crazy. Did you forget that Lin Yi is our Xiao family's #1 enemy? You're an idiot. Go Huli screamed before Xiao Ben could say anything. She didn't want the Xiao family to give in to Lin Yi. Hadn't she lost enough face in front of Lin Yi? One had to admit that this woman was quite vengeful, especially a woman like Go Huli. Once you started to hate someone, it would be to the point of making your hair stand on end. But Xiao Ji heard Huli's scream and gave her a big slap. What are you yelling for, you useless bitch? Who are you to make decisions for the Xiao family? You hit me? Xiao Ji, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family. How dare you hit me? Go Huli held her swollen face and cried. Damn it. If you call me that again, I'll hit you again. Xiao Ji said angrily. Big brother, don't be angry. Xiao Ben waved his hand to stop Xiao Ji's violence. Sister-in-law isn't wrong. Don't be agitated. She's right. Xiao family won't get any benefits if we give in to Lin. Oh? Xiao Ji paused. If Xinyan marries Lin Yi, wouldn't our Xiao family depend on Lin Yi? Even the Hidden House Pie depends on Lin Yi. This means that Lin Yi has a lot of potential. This is good for the development of our Xiao family. Big brother, you're too naive. Xiaoben said. You're right, but have you thought about it? How big is the hatred between our Xiao family and Lin Yi? From the beginning, our Xiao family has always been against Lin Yi. We've hit him when he's down. It's already at an irreconcilable stage. That? Xiao Ji hesitated. Then if we marry Xinyan to Lin Yi, wouldn't we become relatives with Lin Yi? Relatives? Xiao Ben laughed coldly. You treat Lin Yi as a relative, but will he treat you as one? We've heard about what happened in the Hidden House Tang from the Hidden House Yu. Did Lin Yi give face to Tang Yun's father? Did he give face to her grandfather? He's her biological father. What are we? We're not even close to him. That. Xiao Ji thought about it. His brother was right, but he still hoped for luck. Didn't Wu Chintian and the Hidden House Pie have conflicts with Lin Yi before? Didn't you get Lin Yi's trust now? I don't know if the Hidden House Pie is on Lin Yi's side or not, but it doesn't matter. Wu Chintian, too, did he have a direct conflict with Lin Yi? Did it cause any serious consequences? Xiao Ben waved his hand and said, no. Chintian and House Pie actually didn't have much of a conflict with Lin Yi, it was just that they didn't get along. But there is no way our Xiao family would draw their swords against each other. For example, Zhao Qibing of the Hidden House Zhao, Xie Yufeng of the Common House Yu, these people had a grudge with Lin Yi. Do you think there's any way to resolve it? The Common House Yu was destroyed by Lin Yi, and the Hidden House Zhao's Zhao Qibing almost lost his life a couple of times. Do you think Lin Yi would let us, who aren't good relatives of Wang Xinyan, live with us? That. Xiao Ji didn't have much of a brain, but after Xiao Ben's analysis, he felt that it was possible. After all, the Xiao family and Lin Yi had a huge grudge. When Lin Yi was injured, the Xiao family had jumped out to add insult to injury. Would Lin Yi let them go so easily? Can't we ask the Hidden House Pie for mercy? Xiao Ji said after some hesitation. Ask for mercy? Do you think the Hidden House Pie would care about us after joining Lin Yi? Even Wu Chintian wouldn't care about us after joining Lin Yi, let alone the high and mighty Hidden House Pie. Do you think the Hidden House Pie would care about us? Xiao Ben shook his head. We're just a money-making tool for the Hidden House Pie. Now that the Hidden House Pie has joined Lin Yi's side, and Wu Chintian is Lin Yi's follower, the Hidden House Pie and Lin Yi would be doing business with Wu Chintian. Would they even consider us? That's true. Xiao Ji nodded. Even if we let Wang Xinyan follow Lin Yi, we wouldn't be able to get on Lin Yi's good side. Lin Yi would still ignore us, and the Xiao family's position would still be in danger. But if we force Lin Yi to marry Xiaolong, wouldn't we be going against Lin Yi? Wouldn't Lin Yi destroy us in a fit of rage? If he wanted to, he would have done it a long time ago. The reason why he hasn't is probably because we're Wang Xinyan's uncle's son, so we don't have to be afraid of anything. Xiao Ben said, at that time, when the hidden Tang family broke off with Lin Yi and Tang Yun, I didn't see Lin Yi do anything. Xiao Ben was right, Lin Yi didn't do anything to the hidden house Pai, but it wasn't because he didn't want to, but because he wasn't their opponent. Chapter 2387. Xiao Ben neglected this important point. How could the Xiao family be compared to the hidden house Tang? If we force Xinyan to marry Xiaolong, will Lin Yi retaliate? Even if he doesn't, won't the hidden house Pai do it? Xiao Ji asked worriedly. This actually has nothing to do with the Xiao family. We can just kick the ball to House Kong. I don't think they'll agree to cancel the marriage, right? Xiao Ben smiled darkly. Of course, we'll add oil to the fire and stir up House Kang's emotions. They have the hidden House Yu as their backing, and they're very arrogant. When the time comes, our Xiao family will join the hidden House Yu as well, and the hidden house Pai won't work. All right, we'll listen to you, brother. Xiao Ji nodded. What Xiao Ji said was not wrong. During this period of time, the Kong family's confidence had indeed swelled to its peak. The reason was simple. Kong Ming Ming, who said he was helping the hidden house Yu with something, suddenly sent a message saying that he wasn't actually helping the hidden house Yu, but that the ancient sect, Sky Elixir, had chosen him to help them with something. Although Kong Ming Ming didn't say what he was helping the Sky Elixir sect with, Elder Kong could hear the sense of superiority in Kong Ming Ming's words. Kong Ming Ming must be doing quite well, or else he wouldn't have made a call like this. Kong Xiaoming was doing quite well. After he was brought back to Sky Elixir School, the old head of Sky Elixir School, 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 Sky Elixir School. The Flaming Yang pill was a level 3 pill, and it wasn't easy to make. You might not succeed even after a few tries, and it was very exhausting. This was also why Tiandi wouldn't easily agree to make the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill for Bingtang. If he had the time and energy, he wouldn't even be able to make some level 3 pills for his own family, let alone someone else. Naturally, that was impossible. Even the reward of the Heavenly Elixir School's trial test clearly stated that the reward could be a third-grade elixir pill of the Heavenly Elixir School, but one could not ask the Heavenly Elixir School to refine a third-grade elixir pill for them. If there was no third-grade elixir pill that the trial taker needed, they could use other heavenly treasures instead. This was enough to explain how difficult it was to make a level 3 pill. Of course, most of the third-grade elixir pills in the Heavenly Elixir sect were not refined by the people of heaven and earth. Instead, they were refined by Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother. Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother was an alchemist, and his standards were higher than Heaven and Earth Man's. However, Heaven and Earth Man did not dare to ask exactly how high he was. Of course, if it wasn't, Tiandi Sec's senior was in closed training. Heaven and Earth Man would definitely ask Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother to help him refine a third-grade elixir, but there was no other way. He could only do it personally. Things were settled. Kong Ming Ming was allowed to make a call home, and when Kong Ming Ming told Dr. Kong everything, Dr. Kong was surprised and happy. He didn't expect that his grandson, whom he didn't think highly of, would once again bring him an unparalleled surprise. With that, Miracle Dr. Kong gathered all the members of the house and held a family meeting. When Dr. Kong told Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsepu, and Kong Xiaolong about Kong Ming Ming's current situation, the three of them were a little dumbfounded and felt that it was unbelievable. They didn't expect it. Kong Ming Ming was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect to help them. This was a great honor. No one in the Kong family was stupid. The hidden Yu family was such a powerful alchemy family, but no one was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect. Instead, Kong Ming Ming was taken away to help. This meant that the help was definitely not simple, and only Kong Ming Ming could help. Therefore, everyone in the Kong family understood one thing. The Kong family's meteoric rise was imminent. Relying on the ancient sect, It wasn't impossible for the Kong family to directly upgrade to a hidden family. Although Xiaoming didn't say it explicitly this time, the hint was clear enough. He is highly valued in the Sky Elixir sect, learning alchemy from the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Although he only said to help the Sky Elixir sect with one thing and didn't say what it was, his identity as the fifth elder's disciple is enough to make his identity incomparably prominent. Dr. Kong said, "Everyone, think about it. Even the hidden Yu family doesn't have this treatment, but Xiaoming did it. Our Kong family's future really needs to be planned carefully." Yeah, I didn't think that this kid Xiaoming would bring us so many surprises recently. When Kong Guifeng said this, his emotions were complicated. He was both envious and happy, but most of all, he was relieved. Kong Ming went to the Sky Elixir sect and became their disciple. It was basically impossible for him to return to the Kong family. Even if the small Kong family was upgraded to a hidden family, it was nothing to Kong Ming. His position in the Sky Elixir sect and the head of the Kong family were two completely different concepts. So with this, it was impossible for Kong Ming to fight with Xiaolong for the position of the head of the house. This was a good thing. Xiaolong, naturally, understood this as well. This Kong Xiaoming's luck was just too good. He'd worked so hard, but he'd still have to rely on Kong Xiaoming's whims in the future. Even if he became the head of House Kong, the entire House Kong would still have to listen to him. "Grandpa, this is a good opportunity for us Kong family. If we grasp it well, we can form a relationship with the Sky Elixir sect and become a hidden house." Xiaolong was excited. Although he still had to rely on Kong Ming in the future, if he could become the young master of a hidden house, it would be completely different from his current position. Xiaolong is right. Our pharmaceutical company is currently suffering quite a blow, but if we can form a relationship with the Heavenly Elixir sect and use the Heavenly Elixir sect's route, we can act as an agent to sell some elixirs and treasures of heaven and earth, just like the hidden Yu family. When that time comes, we will be rolling in money. Dr. Kong nodded. "Guifeng, our business with Dr. Kang's medicine company is almost finished. We're not making much money now anyway. If we can sell it, we'll sell it. We'll plan for the future." Chapter 2388. Yes, Father. Kong Guifeng nodded. Dr. Kang's medical company was barely hanging on. After being attacked by Lin Yi, there wasn't much business at all. It was just that House Kong had been passive all this time and hadn't found any suitable new business, so they had been dragging it on. Now that Kong Ming had become a refiner, even if the failed pills were brought to House Kong and sold to normal practitioners, such as bodyguards of wealthy merchants, it would still be a huge fortune. House Yu wasn't too willing to do this kind of low-end business, so House Kong could fill this gap in the market. Yes, does anyone have any suggestions? Let's hear it together, Dr. Kong asked. "Grandpa, about my marriage with Wang Xinyan?" Xiaolong hesitated and asked. He was a very utilitarian person. Although he felt that Wang Xinyan wasn't bad, and he was drooling over her beauty, if he had to compare it with his family's interests, he could give up on her beauty. "Yes, Father, shouldn't Xiaolong break off the engagement and find a better one? Like the daughters of other hidden houses?" Kong Guifeng was also a very snobbish person, so he asked. "Break off the engagement? Stupid." Dr. Kong snorted and said, "Xiao family's Wang Xinyan, your marriage with her should be done as it should be. Not only can you not break off the engagement, but you must also try your best to make this marriage happen." "But why is that?" Kong Guifeng was stunned. He didn't expect his father to say this. "Guifeng, we, House Kong, suffered a great loss because we went back on our words last time." Dr. Kong waved his hand and said with a serious expression, "Last time, it was because we were too eager for success and went back on our words that we almost lost the chance to build a relationship with House Yu. If it wasn't for the Xiao family helping us, we wouldn't have been able to build a relationship with the hidden House Yu. So, it's all thanks to the Xiao family that our House Kong is where we are today. Luckily, the Xiao family didn't mind. Otherwise, our Kong family will really decline." Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong froze, but they nodded. They had to admit that Dr. Kong was right. And this time, Xiaoming's success is because of the hidden Yu family. As the saying goes, don't forget the one who dug the well when you drink water. Our Kong family will never break off the engagement with the Xiao family because of this. Not only that, we must also try our best to facilitate this marriage. Dr. Kong saw that Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong were listening, so he continued, from your point of view, it's more beneficial for us to marry into the hidden houses, but do you think that with our family's current situation, those hidden houses would really look at us? Yes, we have the support of the Heavenly Elixir sect, but how many hidden families don't have the support of an ancient sect? Just look at the Hidden House U and the Hidden House Pi. These old hidden houses had the shadow of the ancient level behind them. If we marry them, will they even look at us? What's more, if our Kong family breaks the engagement, in their eyes, we'll become treacherous people. If we did it once, can't there be a second time? Let me make a bold guess. If Kong Ming becomes an elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, wouldn't our Kong family's position be above the hidden houses? At that time, would we break the engagement and marry into an ancient sect or an ancient house? Our Kong family's reputation would be ruined by then. So you're saying that our family will continue to work with the Xiao family and maintain our friendship? Kong Guifeng asked carefully. That's right. Not only do we need to maintain our friendship with the Xiao family, but we also need to use this opportunity to extend an olive branch and bring the Xiao family into our business. We'll get rich together, Dr. Kong said. These few business failures have made me understand some things. Our Kong family was too selfish in the past. But now, we need to change this bad habit. We need to let people see that those who helped us, after our Kong family becomes strong, will repay them with even a drop of water. Grandpa, I understand what you're trying to say. Xiaolong nodded thoughtfully. You're trying to tell us that as our Kong family gets stronger and stronger, we need to pay more attention to our reputation. It's good that you understand, Xiaolong. Miracle Dr. Kong nodded. Your marriage isn't important anymore. As long as Xiaoming is here, we can't fall. Instead of a marriage alliance, why don't you just follow Xiaoming? That's better than anything else. Of course, Xiaolong, don't think too much about it. Xiaoming may be doing better than you, but when you become the head of the house, your position will be much higher than before. Yes. Xiaolong nodded quickly. He'd thought this through long ago. Even if he still had to lower his head in front of Kong Ming, there was no other way. Kong Ming was a member of the Heavenly Elixir sect, not just his little brother, and he'd gotten a lot of benefits from this. As they were talking, the phone beside Old Kang's hand rang. Old Kong looked at the caller ID and after a slight surprise, he picked up the phone with a smile. Hello, head of house you. Old Kong, just call me Old You from now on. Why are you calling me head of the house? It's too formal, Old You laughed and said politely. Hee hee, then I'll do as you say. Old Kong was also a sly old fox. He immediately understood the purpose of Old Yu's call. He was trying to rope in his family. In the past, when the hidden house you called the Kong family, it was always with a master's commanding tone. It was never this polite. But today, Old Yu changed his attitude and spoke to him in a tone of equality. Old Kong knew that the Yu family had received the news. Old Kong, congratulations. Your grandson is valued by the Heavenly Elixir sect and has become the 5th elder's proud disciple. In the future, when he becomes successful and becomes the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, don't forget to remind our house Yu. Old Yu obviously knew more than Old Kong. Since Kong Ming could clearly release the news that he had become the 5th elder's disciple, and the celestial being had personally refined the elixir, it showed that Kong Ming was going to be successful in the future. If he really refined the bone-washing pill, then Kong Ming would become the 5th elder's successor and become the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. This was basically a matter of fact. Therefore, even Old Yu had to be moved and build a good relationship with the Kong family in advance. An elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect was a high existence in front of the hidden house Yu. It could even directly determine the status of the house Yu in front of the Heavenly Elixir sect. How could Old Yu not pay attention to it? Hee hee, you flatter me. Xiaoming is still young. He is just a little disciple. He is too far away from becoming an elder. Although Old Kong said so, his heart jumped. Happy face carrot. Chapter 2389. Obviously, the Hidden Yu family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, Old Man Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Ming Ming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing. But now, after listening to Old Man Yu's words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Ming Ming didn't have any development, Old Man Yu wouldn't call him with such a low profile. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Zhao Ming is the fifth elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Ming Ming's luck to be so good. He actually became the fifth elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for Old Man Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Ming Ming was so bad. Hee, Old Man Yu, keep a low profile. Zhao Ming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Oh yeah, I heard that Zhao Ming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah, Zhaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said, What's the matter? My grandson, Yupan Hu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also Boss Bai's disciple. They can get closer in the future. Old Man Yu said. All right, it's easier for young people to communicate together. Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the hidden Yu family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, Old Man Yu had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. That's good. Old Man Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch. Old Man Yu said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was fluctuating. He still underestimated Kong Ming Ming's status. It seemed that Kong Ming Ming was now one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Geifeng, Kong Cuepu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, Zhao Ming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our house Kong is really amazing this time. Father, what did the hidden old master you say? Kong Geifeng asked quickly. Old Man Yu said that Zhao Ming has a high position in the Heavenly Elixir sect and is the fifth elder's last disciple. It's very likely that he will become an elder in the future. Miracle Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Zhao Ming might have been modest and didn't say much, but House Yu's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. The future elders. Kong Geifeng and others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong had said similar words before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words coming from the Yu family was completely different. Yes, and Old Man Yu said that his grandson, Yupan Hu, is also in Donghai Industry University's biomedical faculty. Xiaolong, go find him and get closer to him. Dr. Kong said. Okay, Grandpa. Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. Clenching his fists tightly, he never thought that he would one day successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, be domineering in the future and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming represents the Heavenly Elixir sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble. Don't be afraid of trouble now, but don't take the initiative to stir up trouble. After all, every move we make may be watched by others. I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't go looking for trouble. Zhao Long nodded. Geifeng, tell this news to your in-laws, Xiao family. Let them be happy. Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. I'll make the call now. Kong Geifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Geifeng looked at the caller ID and froze. Because the person who called was Xiao Ben from the Xiao family. Speak of the devil, and he will appear. Hello, I'm Kong Geifeng. Kong Geifeng picked up the phone. Xiao Ben bro, why are you calling me all of a sudden? Ha Kong bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To tell you the truth, there's some conflict in my family. Xiao Ben said. Family conflict? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family? Kong Gray Feng paused. There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? This? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help. Xiao Ben smiled bitterly. Related to House Kong? Then what is it? Kong Gray Feng didn't know what was going on. It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage. Xiao Ben said. Wang Xinyan has some problems. Problems? Kong Gray Feng frowned, anger rising in his heart. I say, Xiao Ben, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again? Kong Gray Feng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel the marriage? This was simply humiliating the Kong family. Kong bro, please calm down. How could we cancel the marriage? Xiao Ben said quickly. Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Gray Feng felt much better after hearing Xiao Ben's explanation, especially when it came to following Kong Gray Feng's lead. Man, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school? Xiao Ben said bitterly. Xiao Ben, what do you mean? She's engaged and she likes someone else? Kong Gray Feng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Kong bro, that's impossible. Xiao Ben explained. You know that our Xiao family has been trying to make this marriage happen, but the problem is that your son Xiaolong isn't doing well. He's already engaged to Xinyan, and the two of them should be in contact more often. Xinyan wouldn't have the chance to fall in love with someone else, but your son hasn't shown up for a while now. Isn't that giving others a chance to take advantage of her? Chapter 2390. Obviously, the Hidden You family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, Old Master Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Ming Ming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing, but now after listening to Old Master Yu's words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Ming Ming didn't have any development, Old Master Yu wouldn't call in such a low profile to build a relationship. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Xiaoming is the fifth elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Master Yu said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Ming Ming's luck to be so good. He actually became the fifth elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for Old Master Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Ming Ming was so bad. Hee hee, Old Master Yu, keep a low profile. Xiaoming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood, understood. Old Master Yu said with a smile. Oh yeah, I heard that Xiaoming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah, Xiaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said, what's the matter? My grandson, Yupan Hu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also Boss Bai's disciple. They can get closer in the future. Old Master Yu said. All right, it's easier for young people to communicate together. Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the Hidden You family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, Old Master Yu had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. That's good. Old Master Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch. Old Master Yu said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was in turmoil. He still underestimated Kong Ming Ming's status. It seemed that Kong Ming was definitely one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Gray Feng, Kong Cuepu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, Xiaoming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our House Kong is really amazing this time. Father, what did the hidden Old Master Yu say? Kong Gray Feng asked quickly. Old man, you said that Xiaoming's position in the Heavenly Elixir sect is very high. He's the fifth elder's last disciple and is very likely to be a future elder. Miracle Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Xiaoming might have been modest and didn't say much, But House U's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. The future elders. Kong Guifeng and the others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong said something similar before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words coming from the Yu family was completely different. Yes, and old man Yu said that his grandson, Yu Panhu, is also studying in East Ocean Industry University's biomedical department. Xiaolong, you should go find him and get closer to him. Dr. Kong said. Okay, Grandpa. Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. He never thought that there would be a day where he would successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, in the future, you must be domineering and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Xiaoming. Xiaoming represents the heavenly elixir sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble now, but we shouldn't actively cause trouble. After all, our every move can be watched by others. I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't actively cause trouble. Xiaolong nodded. Guifeng, tell this news to your in-laws, Xiao family. Let them be happy. Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. Okay, I'll make the call now. Kong Guifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Guifeng looked at the caller ID and froze. The person who called was Xiao Ben from the Xiao family. Speak of the devil and he's here. Hello, I'm Kong Guifeng. Kong Guifeng picked up the phone. Xiao Ben bro, why are you calling me all of a sudden? Kong bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To be honest, there's some conflict in my family. Xiao Ben said. Conflict in your family? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family? Kong Guifeng paused. There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help. Xiao Ben smiled bitterly. Related to House Kong? Then what is it? Kong Guifeng didn't know what was going on. It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage. Xiao Ben said. Wang Xinyan's side has some problems. Problems? Kong Guifeng frowned, anger welling up in his heart. I say, Xiao Ben, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again? Kong Guifeng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel the marriage? This was a slap to House Kang's face. Kong bro, please calm down. How could we cancel the marriage? Xiao Ben quickly said. Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Guifeng felt much better after hearing Xiao Ben's explanation, especially when he heard that they were following the lead. It made Kong Guifeng feel much better. Sigh, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school. Xiao Ben said bitterly. Xiao Ben, what's the meaning of this? You're engaged but you still like someone else? Kong Guifeng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Chapter 2391. It takes two hands to clap. Kong Guifeng snorted coldly. However, the Kong family had been busy with the company's affairs a while ago. Xiaolong was also busy with the company's affairs. How could he have the mood to be in a relationship? Therefore, Kong Guifeng really couldn't refute what Xiao Ben said. However, Xiao Ben's words about Xiaolong not working hard made him very angry. He thought to himself, why is my son not working hard? Anyway, I will definitely not agree to it. Xiao Ben said, I strongly rejected my sister's proposal. This is a big matter that our two families have discussed. How can we change it just like that? Brother Kong, I am actually reminding nephew Xiaolong out of kindness. If his wife is taken away by someone else, it will be a disgrace to the Kong family. What is the status of the Kong family? She is the representative of the hidden house of Yu. Yes, this matter must not happen. The Kong family can't afford to lose this face. If the daughter-in-law of our Kong family is taken away by someone else, How will the Kong family survive in the future? Kong Greifeng said indignantly, however, Brother Xiao, your words are different. Our Kong family is no longer the representative of the hidden house of Yuyu. Not anymore? Xiao Ben was stunned. He didn't understand what Kong Greifeng meant. Could it be that the Kong family and the hidden house of Yuyu had a conflict? Kong Ming of our Kong family is currently accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. He is also one of the future elders of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Kong Greifeng said proudly, so, our Kong family may be a hidden family in the future. At present, we have a similar relationship with the house of Yuyu. We are both under the Heavenly Elixir sect. What? Xiao Ben heard Kong Guifeng's words and suddenly widened his eyes. He never thought that Kong Ming of the Kong family was so powerful that he was accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect? And the future elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect? Isn't this too amazing? However, when Xiao Ben came back to his senses, he didn't think that Kong Greifeng was lying at all. After all, who would dare to joke about such things? Thinking of this, Xiao Ben was a little excited. He was smart and didn't compromise with Lin Yi. Otherwise, the Xiao family would be finished. How powerful was the Heavenly Elixir sect? That was a very powerful sect in the ancient times. It would be a piece of cake for them to destroy the Xiao family. He had made the right bet this time. If he followed the Kong family in the future, he wouldn't have to worry about not having a meteoric rise. Congratulations, Brother Kong. From now on, I'll call you the Hidden Kong family's young master. Xiao Ben immediately said flatteringly, Young Master Kong, from now on, our Xiao family will follow you. If you have any errands to run, don't forget us. Sure. Kong Greifeng said, feeling a little smug. Right, let's talk about Wang Xinyan first. What's going on? Wang Xinyan. Right, the person she likes is the enemy of your Kong family. Xiao Ben said, gritting his teeth, that person is Lin Yi. If it was someone else, they might be able to tolerate it, but Lin Yi can't, can he? Your Kong family's company went bankrupt because of Lin Yi, can you? You're the representatives of the ancient sects now, the future hidden house. How can you let a little bastard bully you? Can you? We didn't dare to mess with Lin Yi before, but now we have Kong Ming, Xiaolong's brother. Can you? Can Kong Ming just watch his sister-in-law be taken away? Absolutely not. Can you? Lin Kong Gifeng said angrily, you and House Kong have an irreconcilable enmity. Brother Xiao, don't you worry, we'll get to the bottom of this. We, the Kong family, must fight for our honor. Yeah, this is a slap in the face. Xiao Ben said, most importantly, Lin is in the wrong. We can't let this go. Okay, I understand, but you should restrain your Wang Xinyan as well. She's engaged, so you need to be more careful. Kong Greifeng said. Of course I understand. Xiao Ben nodded. Don't worry, Kong bro. Kong Greifeng hung up and told Dr. Kong, Cuepu, and Xiaolong what Xiao Ben told him. Cuepu and Xiaolong were very agitated, thinking that they couldn't just let this go. This was a slap in the face, and they had to fight for it. Father, we can't just let this go. Lin Yi bullied us before, and we didn't have anyone to back us up. Now that we have someone to back us up, how can we let him bully us? Xiaolong had long since treated Wang Xinyan as his private property. He was already pissed when Lin Yi destroyed Dr. Kang's medical company, and now Lin Yi stole his woman. No matter how cunning he was, he couldn't hold it in anymore. But Dr. Kang's expression was very calm. He waved his hand at the angry Xiaolong. Xiaolong, don't be angry. Xiao family might not have good intentions. Dr. Kong was a snobbish man, but he was also a cunning and sinister man. He could tell from Xiao Ben's call that Xiao family might not have good intentions. Father, what do you mean? Kong Greifeng paused. Xiao family is trying to maximize their benefits. If Wang Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, it wouldn't benefit Xiao family at all. Dr. Kong said. Xiao family and Lin Yi are mortal enemies, and it's unlikely that they'll be able to resolve it. If Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, Xiao family and House Kang's relationship would fall apart. To them, it's more harm than good, but they don't want to mess with Lin Yi, so they're kicking the ball to us, instigating you on the phone to make us go against Lin, that's? Kang Gafeng listened to Dr. Kang's analysis and thought through some of the problems. Then shouldn't we just sit back and watch the tigers fight? Of course not. No matter what, Wang Xinyan is our daughter-in-law. If Lin Yi were to take her away, it'd be a disgrace to House Kang, and it'd be a stain on Xiaoming's name. The hidden House Yu would laugh at us too. Dr. Kang waved his hand. Right now, House Kang's reputation is very important. If we cause any bad news and the Sky Elixir sect finds out, it'll very likely hinder our path to becoming a top hidden house. Then father, you're saying that we should go against Lin Yi? But with our current strength, we can't do that. Kang Greifeng asked carefully. Chapter 2392. Kang Gafeng, Kang Zaipu, and Kang Xiaolong's expressions changed after hearing Dr. Kang's analysis. But Dr. Kang didn't give them the chance to speak. Before Xiaoming has a firm foothold, we shouldn't get into a big conflict with our enemies. Let Xiaolong go and get Xinyan back from Lin Yi's hands. Lin Yi is a playboy with so many girlfriends, he might not be true to Xinyan. Xiaolong still has an advantage. Plus, weren't you getting along well with Xinyan back in Yanjing? We were good back then, but we haven't seen each other for a while now. Xiaolong didn't expect Lin Yi and Xinyan to be together. Was there something wrong with Xinyan? Lin Yi had Tang Yun, Feng Xiaoxiao, and that Guan Xen whom he had an unclear relationship with. What was this Xinyan doing? How about this? Xinyan is in Donghai Industry University's biology major, Boss Bai's class. Yu Panhu is there too. You go there and listen in. While you're building a good relationship with Panhu, you can get in touch with Xinyan and get her back for me. Dr. Kang said. There's an important rule in Boss Bai's class. Students can't fight to the death, but dirty tricks are allowed. Lin Yi won't be able to do anything to you. Alright. Xiaolong used to be Boss Bai's student, so he naturally knew about Boss Bai's rules. He also knew that Boss Bai's status was very high, and that Lin Yi wouldn't do anything rash. He wasn't afraid of starting a feud with Lin Yi because Lin Yi wouldn't do anything to him. In Xiaolong's mind, Lin Yi was a martial artist with no intelligence. He was a violent maniac. As for the attack on Dr. Kang's medical company, while Lin Yi was involved, Xiaolong believed that while Lin Yi was Fatty Lai's boss, Fatty Lai was still the one doing the work. The prescription was made by Guan Xueming, and Lin Yi didn't know anything about business. Taking a step back, even if Lin Yi and Xueming were the ones who came up with the recipe, Lin Yi only had some medical knowledge. When it came to scheming, Xiaolong didn't lose to anyone. After House Kang made their decision, Gui Feng called Xiao Ben back and told him about House Kang's decision. Xiao Ben, on the other hand, told Xiao Ji about House Kang's latest movements. Brother, you're the best. You're far-sighted. Xiao Ji heard that House Kang's Kang Mingming was accepted as a disciple by the fifth elder of Sky Elixir sect, and that he had a chance to become an elder of Sky Elixir sect in the future. He sighed. If it wasn't for Xiao Ben's persistence, Xiao family would have been done for. Brother, this is a great opportunity. If House Kang becomes strong, then our Xiao family's status will rise as well. Xiao Ben smiled. It was good enough for us to protect our status as noble houses, but now, hidden noble houses are waving at us. Of course. But Wang Xinyan? She better not get into trouble. Xiao Ji said worriedly. If something really happens between her and that little bastard Lin Yi, then Xiao family will lose the chance to be rich and powerful. Yeah, I've already instigated House Kang to make a move, but we need to warn Xinyan in advance. Don't let her do anything immoral. Xiao Ben nodded. If nothing happens between her and Lin Yi, House Kang won't give up, but if she's a slut, then Xiaolong won't bother. Compared to that, marrying a slut is even more shameful. Yes, then how should we tell Xiao Qinlin? Xiao Ji was even more worried after hearing this. What if we warn her and it backfires? That won't happen, I'll tell her. Xiao Ben had an idea. Alright, I'll leave it to you, brother. You're the brains of our family. Xiao Ji let out a breath of relief when he heard that Xiao Ben had an idea. Xiao Ben dialed Qinlin's number again, and Qinlin was anxiously waiting for Xiao family's reply. Qinlin, it's your brother, Xiao Ben. Xiao Ben said after the call went through. Brother, how is it? Can we break off the engagement? Qin Lin asked quickly. Qin Lin, it's not that I want to lecture you, but marriage is a big deal. We're already engaged to House Kong. If we break off the engagement now, the consequences will be severe. Xiao Ben said with a heavy heart. Brother, I know it's a little troublesome, but Xinyan has spoken, and I've discussed it with her father. Ever since Xinyan was kidnapped, we've realized that Xinyan is the most important thing. Everything else is just worldly possessions. Qin Lin said. We don't need our company anymore. We can give it to you or House Kong. It doesn't matter if we have nothing, as long as Xinyan is happy. Xiao Ben was startled. He didn't expect Qin Lin to be so resolute this time. She even wanted to give up the company? Originally, he wanted to use the company to threaten Qin Lin, but it seemed impossible now. However, Xiao Ben wasn't called the brains of his family for nothing. He immediately had another idea. Qin Lin, it's not about the company anymore. It's about whether House Kong can let Xiao family go, and you and Xinyan go. So what if they don't? Qin Lin said firmly. We don't want the company anymore. What else can they do? It's not something that can be solved just because you say you don't want it. Xiao Ben paused, then said, Qin Lin, if Xinyan and Lin Yi are together, she and Lin Yi will both die. Do you believe it? Qin Lin was stunned. How can they die? No matter how overbearing the Kong family is, they can't just kill people, right? That was before. Xiao Ben shook his head. There are some things you don't know yet. House Kang's Kong Ming, Xiaolong's younger brother, has caught the eye of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, one of the biggest ancient sections. He's been taken in as his last disciple, the future elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Now that House Kong has the protection of the Sky Elixir sect, do you think Kong Ming will let it go if he finds out that his sister-in-law was seduced? If he brings a few masters from the Sky Elixir sect, it'll be the end of our sect. Don't think that just because Lin Yi has some martial arts and has the support of the Hidden House Pai, he's nothing in the eyes of the ancient sects. Chapter 2393. But the legendary ancient sect had accepted Kong Ming as a disciple, and Kong Ming could even become an elder of the Sky Elixir sect? Qin Lin couldn't digest all of this at once. It was too surreal. It was unrealistic to say that House Kong could destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao, but it should be easy for an ancient sect to destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao. They could destroy them with a snap of their fingers. Even a hidden house was very powerful in Qin Lin's eyes, let alone an ancient sect. If it weren't for the head of the Hidden House Pai, Wang Xinyan wouldn't even be alive right now. And so, Qin Lin was dumbfounded. Qin Lin, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family, and I don't want anything to happen to Xinyan. As for that little bastard Lin Yi, I'd be happy if he got rid of him. Xiao Ben was playing hard to get, but if Kong Ming from the Sky Elixir sect comes out and takes out Lin Yi, Xinyan might not be in a good position. Think about it, in his eyes, marrying Lin Yi's woman back to House Kong would be a slap in the face. Getting rid of them was the best way. It was the least shameful way to solve the problem. In the end, our Xiao family, you and I will both die. It's that serious. Xiao Qinlin was quite frightened, because what Xiao Ben said was too frightening. Yes, it's very serious. Xiao Ben said, this is actually very easy to prove. You don't have to doubt it. Kong Xiaolong will be going to Xinyan's class to listen in these few days. According to the Hidden House Yu's request, Yupan who has to get close to Kong Xiaolong, and Xinyan will be able to see him in a few days. But that, Qinlin was really hoping for luck. She was scared, but she hoped that Xiao Ben was lying to her. However, after hearing Xiao Ben's words, Xiao Qinlin knew that this matter was basically true. They would know in a few days. The attitude of the Hidden Yu family disciples would reveal everything. Qinlin, I've already told you in advance. As for Xinyan, you should talk to her about the pros and cons. I believe she's a sensible child. She wouldn't do something so foolish as to send everyone to their deaths. Chuban said, I understand. Xiao Qinlin said helplessly, I will talk to Xinyan and try my best to convince her. Although Xiao Qinlin wanted to support her daughter's choice, what was the point of supporting her if she lost her life? Xiao Qinlin sighed and dialed her daughter's number. Xinyan had been holding her phone, waiting for Xiao Qinlin's call. She picked it up immediately. How's it going? Did Uncle agree to cancel the engagement? Xinyan, sigh. Xiao Qinlin listened to her daughter's expectant voice and couldn't help but sigh. Things are a little complicated. Mom, what's wrong? Is it because they don't want me to cancel the engagement? Xinyan heard her mother's unhappy tone and guessed what was going on. Her heart tightened. Yes, Xinyan. I'm sorry, I've tried my best. But I really can't. Xiao Qinlin said helplessly. Mom, do we really have to listen to Uncle? Can't we make our own choices? Worst comes to worst, we'll just cut off our relationship with them. We have Lin Yi and the hidden house pie to take care of our business. It won't be too bad. Xinyan had made up her mind, and she was very determined. Xinyan, listen to me, I'll explain it to you slowly. Xiao Qinlin sighed and told Xinyan everything Xiao Ben said. Xinyan, now you know why I said it can't be done, right? The hidden house pie is strong, but can it compare to the ancient sex? If you choose Lin Yi, it's not just hurting you, it's also hurting Lin. Do you want him to die? Xinyan's mouth was wide open, shocked beyond words. Xiaolong's brother, Kong Mingming, had become the disciple of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, the future successor of the elder? Why was House Kong so lucky? Xinyan, you're my only daughter, I don't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Qinlin continued. Sometimes, liking someone doesn't mean you have to be with them. As long as they're safe and happy, that's a type of happiness, isn't it? Mom, I understand. Xinyan sighed softly, laughing at herself. She didn't think that her decision would die before it could be implemented. Yes, if she forced herself to be with Lin Yi, it wouldn't just hurt herself, it would hurt Lin Yi as well. Xinyan, think about it, calm down. Xiao Qinlin didn't feel too good. If you can't think it through, then call me, okay? Xinyan hung up quietly, tears streaming down her cheeks. Was it to mourn this withering love that hadn't even bloomed yet? Freedom of love was a luxury in a family like hers. Xinyan didn't want to give up, but she didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. After some hesitation, she dialed Chen Tian's number. Xinyan, sis-in-law? Chen Tian blinked. He didn't expect Xinyan to call him. Although Xinyan had saved his number after she was kidnapped, she never called him. Chen Tian was a little surprised. Wu Chen Tian, I want to ask you something. Are ancient sects very powerful? Xinyan asked directly. Ancient sects? Chen Tian paused, not knowing why Xinyan would ask a question like this. He thought that she must have heard about it somewhere and was curious, so he answered casually, of course they're powerful. Ancient sects are much more powerful than hidden houses. Xinyan, sis-in-law, why are you asking this all of a sudden? Compared to Lin Yi? Xinyan asked again. Chen Tian was even more taken aback. He didn't expect Xinyan's thoughts to jump so far, comparing him to Lin Yi. He didn't want to belittle Lin Yi in front of Xinyan, but he didn't dare boast. Boss will be even more powerful than the ancient sects in the future. Look, Boss wasn't as powerful as a common house before, and he was suppressed by House Yu. But after that, he successfully wiped out House Yu and took in all the common houses, forming the Cultivators Association. Now, he's marching towards the hidden houses. Look, the hidden house Han and House Pai have become his lackeys, and they've joined the Cultivators Association as well. So, it's only a matter of time before Boss conquers the ancient sects. I got it. Thanks. Xinyan sighed as she hung up the phone. Chapter 2394. But this kind of achievement would have been very dazzling during normal times. It wasn't something normal people could achieve, but for Xinyan, it was far from enough. The pressure from the ancient sects was simply too much. Xinyan finally understood her mother's fear. Even Lin Yi couldn't fight against them. After some hesitation, Xinyan finally made her decision. 4 years in university wasn't long, but it wasn't short either. She couldn't marry Xiaolong during that time, so she'd give Lin Yi 4 years. For years, she hoped that Lin Yi would be able to stand at a height even higher than the ancient sects. But, from now on, in order to prevent the Sky Elixir sect from doing anything to Lin Yi, She had to keep some distance from Lin Yi, especially after Xiaolong's arrival. She'd keep this secret to herself. She didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi didn't reach that height in 4 years, then Xinyan would go to Xiaoxiao or Tang Yun. Weren't they heirs to the ancient sects? Xinyan would rather not get married then. She didn't believe that the Sky Elixir sect would start a war with the Ice Palace or Snow Valley just because of this. After all, running away from the wedding and being with Lin Yi were two different things. Running away would only cause House Kong to lose a bit of face, but being with Lin Yi would cause them to lose a lot of face. Chen Tian looked at the phone in his hand and shook his head. He didn't know why Xinyan was calling him, asking a few random questions. Was she trying to get to know Lin Yi better? But Chen Tian didn't think much of it. He continued walking around the mall with old Pai Zhishan, Pai Zhihai, and his grandpa. They'd been in Lin Yi's house for a while now, and they didn't bring much luggage. Their clothes were washed and worn, and Lin Yi had people buy them for them. Today was the chance to buy some daily necessities and clothes. Lin Yi was studying Spring Rain in his room after his failure when he heard Qin Shi's voice in the living room. Lin Yi quickly walked out to see that Qin Shi had just woken up. She stood up from the sofa and looked around, her eyes filled with shock. A moment ago, Qin Shi was scavenging with Grandpa Zhu near the beach between Donghai and Songshan. For some reason, she fell asleep, and when she woke up again, she found herself lying on a sofa in a luxurious villa. Qin Shi was shocked. She remembered that there were often cases of girls being abducted on the internet and in the newspapers. She quickly checked her clothes and found that they were intact. Chen Shi felt a little strange. Who brought her here? Suddenly hearing the sound of the door opening, Chen Shi subconsciously turned her head, but what she saw was the person she yearned for day and night. Thinking about day and night? Chen Shi's face reddened. Only Ziyu knew what was on her mind. Shi, you're awake? Lin Yi knew that Chen Shi only took sleeping pills, so he wasn't too worried. Yeah, Lin Yi bro, why am I here? Chen Shi saw Lin Yi, surprised at first, but then confused. Wasn't I scavenging at the beach? You were taken away by the bad guys and I just happened to see you, so I brought you back. Lin Yi didn't explain in detail. Lin Yi didn't want to get rid of Boss Zhu just yet, and keeping him with Qin Shi was a form of protection. Lin Yi could tell that the reason why the Zhaos didn't leave after losing to Qin Shi was because they wanted to take Qin Shi away after Lin Yi, Pu Laolu, and Pu Huati fought to the death. They didn't want anything to happen to Qin Shi. But what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi's strength was beyond their expectations. From their perspective, Pu Laolu was an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati was a psychic with an unknown combat ability. Even if the two of them couldn't win completely, it was still possible that they could take Lin Yi down with them. So the people who stayed there were waiting for Lin Yi to deal with Pu Laolu and Pu Huati, and then they could secretly take Qin Shi away. But what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi killed the hidden Zhaos in one move. They didn't even have the chance to see Lin Yi kill Pu Laolu. Although Lin Yi was recovering, he still heard the boss's words clearly. The hidden Zhaos had spoken to them, which meant that they had been planning this for a long time, and Qin Shi was just a pawn. But what was the relationship between Qin Shi and the hidden Zhaos? And why would Boss Zhu stay by Qin Shi's side? What about Grandpa Zhu? Qin Shi was shocked. She came out to scavenge with Grandpa Zhu, and she met the bad guys. How was Grandpa Zhu now? Did he meet the bad guys as well? Grandpa Zhu. Lin Yi laughed coldly in his heart. He's fine. He probably sold you out and you're still worried about him? But Lin Yi naturally wouldn't say this to Qin Shi. He said to her, who knows, but he should be fine. He's just an old man, he doesn't have much value. Pack up, I'll send you back to Songshan. Okay. Qin Shi was still a little worried about Grandpa Zhu, but since Lin Yi said so, she didn't ask any more. She only nodded. I don't need to pack up, I can go now. Okay, let's go now. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't see Meng Yao and Yushu, not knowing what they were doing. Lin Yi sent them a text, telling them that he was sending Qin Shi back to Songshan, and left the villa with Qin Shi. Boss Zhu didn't see what happened in the casino, but he did see Lin Yi carrying Qin Shi, Elder Pai, Pai Zhishan, Pai Zhihai, Wu Gonggao, Meng Yao, Yushu, and the others all in one piece. Lin Yi had some bloodstains on him, as if he was injured, but the fact that he could carry someone meant that he was fine. Why would Elder Pai appear next to Lin? Wasn't Pai Zhihai injured by the purple thunderbolt beast? Why did he appear here alive and kicking? Chapter 2395. Boss Zhu quickly called Zhao Guangyin. Young master, Lin Yi saved Qin Shi. Although he's injured, he should be fine. He can still hold Qin Shi. What? Zhao Guangyin was shocked. Pu Laolu is an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati is a psychic. Even they couldn't stop Lin Yi? Looks like there's no one left. Young master, what about Qin Shi? Boss Zhu asked. You follow Lin Yi. Go get Qin Shi back first. Your identity hasn't been exposed, so it's fine. Zhao Guangyin was angry and unwilling, but there was nothing he could do. He could only say, wait for you to come back and think about it. Tell father and I the details. Boss Zhu quickly replied. So, as soon as Lin Yi left the villa, he saw Boss Zhu at the door. Boss Zhu, on the other hand, pretended like he'd just arrived, panting and sweating. Did you hear? I've been asking around for a long time, and finally found out where you're staying. It's so hard to find. Boss Zhu's acting was quite good. Of course, he was always acting in front of Qin Shi. Grandpa Zhu, you're okay? That's great. Qin Shi was happy to see Boss Zhu. Qin Shi, Grandpa Zhu is fine. You were suddenly knocked out by a few people. Sigh, Grandpa Zhu is useless. I couldn't protect you. Boss Zhu said helplessly. It's okay, Lineage saved me. Qin Shi didn't doubt Boss Zhu's words at all. Qin Shi, go back to the villa first. I want to talk to your Grandpa Zhu. Since Lin Yi saw Boss Zhu, he wouldn't let him go so easily. Qin Shi was taken aback, but she still nodded because of her trust in Lin. More importantly, she listened to Lin Yi's words. I'll go back to the villa first. Qin Shi didn't know why Lin Yi was looking for Grandpa Zhu, but she didn't ask. She turned around and left. Mr. Lin Yi, thank you so much. Boss Zhu said pretentiously. All right, old Zhu, stop pretending. Let's talk in the car. Lin Yi pointed at his car and said to Boss Zhu. What do you mean, Mr. Lin Yi? Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still pretended not to know. You know what I mean. I killed those hidden Zhao family members. Don't you want to know how they died? Lin Yi said coolly. What hidden Zhao family? I don't understand. Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still asked with a blank face. Get in the car if you don't want to die. Earth-class early-phase practitioner, Lin Yi didn't say much and pointed out his level. Boss Zhu's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be able to tell what level he was. It seemed that Lin Yi really did know something, otherwise he wouldn't have said that. The fact that he was a practitioner was suspicious enough. All right. Boss Zhu's face changed. He nodded and got in the car with Lin. What's your relationship with Qibing's Uncle Zhu? Are you his brother? Lin Yi already guessed that Boss Zhu was related to the hidden house Zhao. His surname was Zhu, so naturally he connected it to Uncle Zhu. Yes, he's my brother. Boss Zhu gritted his teeth. He knew that there was no point in hiding it from Lin Yi. Lin Yi already knew his identity. Why did you run to Qin Shi's side? What happened today? What was going on? Why you guys hiding House Zhao? Lin Yi. I'm sorry, I have my own master. There are some things I can't say. Boss Zhu rejected. Boss Zhu refused. You and Qin Shi can expose my identity, but I still can't say anything about the Zhao family. Expose you? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu playfully. Do you think that you'll be fine if you don't say anything? Then, what do you want? Boss Zhu's face froze. Elder Bai, I even dared to cripple you. Who do you think you are in my eyes? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu condescendingly. I asked you to get in the car to ask you something. Don't think I'm begging you. I can kill you anytime I want. Do you believe that no one from House Zhao will stand up for you after you die? Boss Zhu started sweating. Lin Yi was right. Elder Bai was almost in a vegetative state from Lin Yi, and House Zhao didn't even dare fart. If they dared to look for trouble with Lin Yi, they wouldn't need to borrow a knife to kill him. That's right, but your master is a bit too weak. Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu. Perhaps you'll have a better future with Zhao Qikuan? Your brother Uncle Zhu might not always be a cripple. What do you mean? Boss Zhu's eyebrows twitched as he stared at Lin. He wasn't sure of Lin Yi's intentions. Nothing, I'm just saying. Lin Yi said faintly. Wu Chentian was crippled, but now he's in Earth-class early phase. Pai Zhihai, that Zhao Yaowang from your house said that he couldn't make it anymore, but isn't he fine now? Since Boss Zhu could find his way here, Lin Yi believed that Boss Zhu must have seen the hidden house Pai come out of the casino. At this point, if Boss Zhu still didn't understand what Lin Yi meant, then he'd be an idiot. Lin Yi's hint was clear. There was no future with Zhao Qibing, but there was a future with Zhao Qikuan. Not only was there a future, but there was hope for his brother's recovery. Although Uncle Zhu's injuries were serious, Boss Zhu thought that Wu Chentian and Pai Zhihai's injuries were even more serious. If they were fine, then Uncle Zhu's injuries were probably nothing to Lin Yi. It wouldn't be hard for him to recover. Can I think about it? This is too important, Boss Zhu said after a moment of silence. After all, it was impossible for him to betray House Zhao. He'd been with House Zhao for so many years, and he couldn't bring himself to destroy House Zhao with Lin Yi. But to change masters and work for Qikuan, that was something he could accept. Chapter 2396. Of course, Lin Yi didn't expect Boss Zhu to agree right away. That wasn't realistic. If he agreed right away, Lin Yi would suspect that there was something wrong with him. Lin Yi didn't believe that he had some sort of king's aura that could make Boss Zhu submit right away. Wu Chentian, Hidden House Han, and Hidden House Pai's submission all had specific conditions. Boss Zhu only talked to him once and he'd submit? That wasn't realistic. Phew! Boss Zhu let out a breath of relief and said gratefully, "Thank you. What's with Chen Shi?" Lin Yi asked. Chen Shi is the illegitimate daughter of the young head. I'm someone the young head arranged to be by her side. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else right now. I hope Mr. Lin can understand and don't force me, Boss Zhu said. Lin Yi could get some information from Mrs. Chen later on, so Boss Zhu didn't hide it. Oh. Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect Chen Shi to be Zhao Guangyin's illegitimate daughter? This Zhao Guangyin was pretty good at messing around when he was young. It wasn't enough that he had Zhao Qibing, but now he had an illegitimate daughter? But what surprised Lin Yi was that the daughter of House Zhao was picking up trash. House Zhao has a strong patriarchal mindset, and they're very clear on the difference between the legitimate and illegitimate sons. Boss Zhu saw Lin Yi's confusion and explained. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. It made sense now. This was most likely the reason why Zhao Qikuan wasn't valued. Zhao Qibing was the son of Zhao Guangyin, the young head of the house. Even if it was passed down, it would be his son who would be the heir, not Zhao Qikuan. Thinking of Zhao Qikuan, Lin Yi asked, "How's Zhao Qikuan now?" Zhao Qikuan at the Hidden House Summit. He wanted to call Mr. Lin and tell him that Zhao Qibing's car was modified, but he was caught red-handed and is now under house arrest. Boss Zhu didn't hide it. These things weren't too important. Qikuan would tell Lin Yi about it when the Sky Elixir School's test was held, so Boss Zhu was just telling him first. He's under house arrest. Lin Yi was very surprised. He didn't think that Qikuan would be locked up because of him. It seemed like Qikuan had truly accepted him as his boss, or else he wouldn't be like this. This surprised Lin Yi. But after knowing this, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore Zhao Qikuan. He was locked up because of him, and this time, he was going to the Sky Elixir School's test. It seemed like House Zhao wanted to use this chance to get rid of him. Mr. Lin, I can't do anything about this. I can't interfere with House Zhao's business. Boss Zhu thought that Lin Yi wanted his help, so he explained bitterly. It's fine, just tell him to go to the test in peace. I'll take care of everything. Lin Yi said. That's easy, Boss Zhu nodded. This was something he could do. About the Hidden House Pai, don't talk about it, they're all dead anyway, there's no evidence, Lin Yi said faintly. Whatever you want to make up later, that's up to you. All right. Boss Zhu sighed. He didn't say anything yet, but he was already on Lin Yi's boat. But what else could he do if he didn't agree? If Lin Yi wanted to kill him and Uncle Zhu, he could do it with a wave of his hand. No one could protect him, so he had to give in. Chen Shi, I'll leave her to you. I don't want anything to happen to her. Lin Yi said with an unquestionable tone. If anything happens, you'll be in trouble too. I understand. Boss Zhu quickly replied. All right, Since you're here, you can take Chunshi back, Linny said. He wasn't worried anymore. You know what to do, right? I know, Boss Ju nodded helplessly. After getting off the car with Boss Ju, Linny went back to the villa and saw Chunshi sitting on the sofa alone, not watching TV or reading magazines, just sitting there like a fool. It wasn't that Chunshi didn't want to, but suddenly staying in such a luxurious villa made her feel uncomfortable and restricted. She didn't dare touch anything in the villa. Chunshi, since your grandpa Zhu is here to pick you up, you can go back with him. I won't be sending you off, Linny said. Okay. Chunshi was a bit disappointed. She actually wanted Linny to send her back so she could spend more time with Linny, but she didn't dare say it out loud. She could only nod. Study hard when you get back, and don't always pick up trash. If you don't have money, asking Ziyu for it. Linny didn't want Chunshi to be distracted by these things. Yeah, Ziyu said, but evidently wasn't going to do that. Linny didn't have a choice. Chunshi and Ziyu were close, but Chunshi wouldn't use Ziyu's money. After sending Chunshi and Boss Zhu off, Linny looked at the time. It was still early, and he was about to ask Meng Yao and Yushu what was going on when Linny got a call from Lingshan. Silly girl, your call really came at the right time. Lingshan's call came in just as Linny was done with the things he had on hand. Why are you calling me silly girl again? Lingshan felt a little familiar with the way he called her. She remembered that Linny hadn't called her that in a while, and hearing it now gave her a strange feeling. I just remembered, so I called you that. Linny thought back to when he first met Lingshan, feeling a little emotional. In the blink of an eye, they were all from Songshan to Donghai City. You missed me? Lingshan's voice started to sound a little sweet and coquettish. A little. Lin didn't deny. It had been a long time since he last saw Lingshan, and seeing her today made him feel a sense of closeness. It was just that Lingshan had a case to deal with, so Linny didn't talk to her much. Real or fake, I'm pretty happy. Lingshan was a little surprised. It's just a simple thing between friends, Linny added. Can't you just add that last part? Lingshan said, a little discouraged. There are different types of friends, Linny sweated. He didn't expect Lingshan to react this strongly. Alright, if that's the case, can you help me look into the kidnapping case? Lingshan felt a little better. Chapter 2397. I got this case as soon as I came to Donghai, and I went to the police station yesterday to look at the fake Lin Yi's file. According to Chen Tian, the kidnappers were very similar to the fake Lin. They were the type of people who had no intelligence and weren't afraid of death, or rather, people who had their brains destroyed and hypnotized. Lingshan said. Lin Yi paused. He hadn't had the time to ask about the details yet, but now that Lingshan was talking about it, he did feel that the two cases were quite similar, and he subconsciously thought of one person. He remembered what he saw at the Hidden House Summit. This kidnapper and that fake Lin Yi, weren't they similar to the contestants and Mingyue brought? No wonder Lin Yi felt that this person looked familiar back then. The person Li Biaohan had found was similar to this type of person. It should be the Firewolves. Lin Yi guessed, and the Firewolves were the first people he thought of. Firewolves? Lingshan frowned. Naturally, she'd heard of the Firewolves before. The Firewolves weren't any weaker than the ancient sections. They were a gang, but other than being notorious, they didn't have any solid evidence. The police couldn't do anything to them. More importantly, the number of practitioners they had was enough to fight against the ancient sections. Normal people wouldn't be able to touch them. It's just a guess. Lin Yi said, but it's very possible that it's Jiang Wen's doing. Of course, in the end, the person you catch might be a small fry that the Firewolves used as a scapegoat. Don't hold too much hope. It's good that we have a direction. Lingshan sighed. Of course, she knew what Lin Yi was talking about. If this was really done by the Firewolves, then the Firewolves wouldn't have left any evidence behind. This could be seen from the fake Lin Yi that they captured. Come to my villa when you're free. I'll give you a small qi gathering pill. You'll be able to advance to the early phase of Earth class after you take it. It'll be good for your daily work. Lin Yi said, East Ocean City is not like Songshan City. The level of the cultivators here is obviously higher than Songshan City. Alright, I'll go get it after I'm done here. Lingshan said. Thanks, "Oh, why are you thanking me?" Lin smiled. Ling Shan's heart warmed, and she happily hung up the phone. But then she thought about the firewolves, and her head hurt again. Donghai, Jiang Wen's villa. This was the third time Xiao Chun called Lei Daming. "Lei Daming, is your money ready or not? Our patience is limited. If we don't see the money in an hour, we can only say sorry," Xiao Chun said coldly through the voice changer. "I really don't have money," Lei Daming said with a sad face. "It's not that I don't want to pay, but I'm no longer the chairman of the Merchant Association. The Hidden House Xiao doesn't let me manage the business in Donghai anymore. They sent me to Jiduan City to manage the business. You don't know how to ask for money from the Hidden House?" Xiao Chun, naturally, didn't care about his excuses. "1 hour. If you don't have the money, I'll kill you." Then, Xiao Chun hung up the phone, ignoring Lei Daming's crying. But after hanging up, Xiao Chun changed his violent attitude and said respectfully, "Master Wen, what Lei Daming said is true. He really doesn't have the money. I've asked around, and the chairman of the Donghai Merchant Association has been changed to an outsider called Peng Zhan." "What? Changed to Peng Zhan?" Jiang Wen froze. "Yeah, why don't we kidnap Peng Zhan's daughter and extort some money from him?" Xiao Chun suggested. Of course, he was new here, and didn't know about the relationship between Jiang Wen, Peng Zhan and Meng Yao. "Xiao Chun, don't talk nonsense." Scorpion knew about Jiang Wen's situation. He glared at Xiao Chun. "Shut up. Forget it, Scorpion, he doesn't know." Jiang Wen waved his hand. He didn't blame Xiao Chun. "I've been chasing after Peng Zhan's daughter. If I kidnap her and she finds out about it, I won't have a chance." It seemed like Jiang Wen didn't have much of a chance now, but he still had a sliver of hope. "I'm sorry, Master Wen." Xiao Chun jumped in fright. He made a mental note that he couldn't offend this Peng Zhan. "But what about Lei Daming's daughter?" "Kill her if she doesn't pay for an hour." Jiang Wen said coldly. "Let's make an example out of her. It's not easy for us to kidnap her, and if she doesn't pay, we won't let her off easy. Mark the price clearly and honestly." "All right." Xiao Chun nodded. An hour later, Lei Daming didn't pay the ransom, so Scorpion killed Lei Daming's daughter and left her body in the wilderness. He told Xiao Chun to call Lei Daming to identify the body. In a garbage dump in the suburbs of Donghai, a couple of police cars had their lights flashing. Ling Shan, Lu Wangli, and the others were standing beside a woman's body. The other police officers were cordoning off the area. Lei Daming was crying on the ground. He didn't think that the kidnappers would really kill his daughter. Ling Shan felt that the kidnappers were too arrogant, but she didn't really sympathize with Lei Daming. This guy was a dog of House Zhao, and when he was the chairman of Donghai Commerce, he worked with some local businessmen to bully and chase away foreign investors, turning Donghai business into a mess. Now that he was abandoned by House Zhao, and his daughter was killed by the kidnappers, he was reaping what he sowed. But as bad as Lei Daming was, the case had to be solved. After investigating the scene, Ling Shan brought Lu Wangli to House N's villa in Donghai. Since Lin Yi said that this might have something to do with Jiang Wen from the Firewolves, Ling Shan naturally had to go and investigate. When Ling Shan arrived at the villa, Jiang Wen wasn't at home. Only Jiang Wen's father, and Mingyue, was there. "Mr. N, I'm Ling Shan from Donghai's criminal investigation team. This is my ID." Ling Shan handed the ID to An Mingyue. Ling Shan and An Mingyue weren't strangers, but Ling Shan still had to be professional. Chapter 2398. "Mr. N, is Jiang Wen home? We have something we need to talk to him about." Ling Shan got straight to the point. "Oh, you're looking for Jiang Wen? He's not home." "What's the matter?" And Mingyue asked calmly. "Where is he? We're looking for him to cooperate with the investigation." Ling Shan said. "I see, why don't I call him and ask him to come back?" And Mingyue saw that Ling Shan wasn't going to say anything, and after some hesitation, he dialed Jiang Wen's number and told him everything that happened. Of course, he didn't say anything unnecessary. He believed that Jiang Wen would understand what he was trying to say. Jiang Wen, naturally, understood what his father was hinting at, but he didn't understand how Ling Shan could have gotten here so quickly. Jiang Wen was confident that he'd done everything perfectly, and there wasn't any evidence left. Ling Shan probably didn't come here through evidence. Still, Jiang Wen went back to the villa immediately and greeted Ling Shan warmly. "Officer Song, you were looking for me?" "Jiang Wen, you're familiar with the recent kidnapping cases, right?" Ling Shan asked straightforwardly. Normal methods wouldn't work on people like Jiang Wen. "Kidnapping cases? I've heard of it, but no one from Housen was kidnapped?" As expected, Jiang Wen looked at Ling Shan innocently. "Jiang Wen, I'll cut to the chase. Lin Yi asked me to find you. The Firewolf gang's research on these people that are similar to practitioners. Don't tell me you have nothing to do with it." Ling Shan wasn't just beating around the bush with Jiang Wen. Someone like him wouldn't admit anything no matter what. So, Ling Shan decided to ask him directly. But Jiang Wen didn't expect Ling Shan to ask like this, especially since it was Lin Yi who asked her to come. His face changed. He wanted to deny it subconsciously, but he knew that he couldn't. Lin Yi probably knew about the things he had done, such as kidney removal, underground boxing, bank robbery, etc. However, Lin Yi did not have any evidence, and Lin Yi probably could not be bothered with him for the time being. But this time, Lin Yi had personally instructed Ling Shan to come to him. Evidently, Lin Yi wasn't happy with the kidnapping. Jiang Wen frowned. He seemed to have offended Lin Yi a little too much recently, especially after Pengzhan's car accident. Lin Yi didn't like him at all. He remembered what his father said about Lin Yi's feat at the Hidden House Summit. Jiang Wen hesitated, but decided to give in. His position in the Firewolf gang was indeed very high, but didn't the Firewolf gang's law protectors similarly admit defeat in front of Lin Yi? Plus, Lin Yi's performance at the Hidden House Summit could only be described as shocking. Even those Sky-class masters didn't dare to make a move, so how could Jiang Wen fight against Lin Yi? And so, Jiang Wen decided to give in. "Is that so? But, Officer Song, you know that I may be the person in charge of the Firewolf gang in Donghai, but some of my men might use our practitioners to do bad things for their own selfish reasons. I didn't pay attention to it before, but since Officer Song reminded me, it seems like I've overlooked it. Don't worry, Officer Song, I'll investigate the people in our group, and those who have the qualifications to use those practitioners, I'll investigate them one by one. If it really was one of our men involved in the kidnapping, then I won't go easy on him. I'll bring him to you personally." "I hope so," Ling Shan nodded. This wasn't the result she wanted, but it was still a victory in comparison. Jiang Wen gave in. The person he handed over might be a small fry, but it was better than nothing. Of course, Ling Shan knew that the Lin Yi in her words had an effect. Jiang Wen was obviously afraid of Lin Yi, and that was why he was trying to shirk the responsibility. Otherwise, there was no way Jiang Wen would give in without any evidence at all. Ling Shan didn't say much and left with Lu Wangli. She knew that the kidnapping case would be solved soon, but the real culprit was still in hiding. The Firewolf gang, also known as Firewolf Group, was the real culprit behind all this. "We just made some money, and Lin Yi's here to cause trouble." Jiang Wen was furious after Ling Shan left. "Jiang Wen, Lin Yi has a big grudge with us. With the current situation, it really isn't a good time to have a conflict." And Ming Yue said, "Let's stop the kidnapping for now." Jiang Wen was angry, but he knew that he couldn't do the kidnapping business anymore. It seemed like he had to focus on other businesses. Boss Zhu sent Qin Shi back first before returning to Donghai City. He went to Gambling Bros Casino first and learned about the situation from him. Of course, this was to make it easier for him to lie when he got back. He mainly wanted to test how much Gambling Bro knew. But now, it seemed like Gambling Bro didn't know much. He didn't see how Pu Laolu and Pu Huati died, and he didn't know Old Pai's real identity. This made Boss Zhu sigh in relief. After Boss Zhu returned, the first thing the Hidden House Zhao did was call for a family meeting. Boss Zhu followed Lin Yi's orders and blamed the whole thing on Lin Yi, but didn't mention the Hidden House Pai. As for the reason why the Zhaos were killed by Lin Yi, it was because of the casino. Boss Zhu said that the boss of the casino sold out the Hidden House Zhao's identity. Of course, Boss Zhu was reversing the sequence. Gambling Bro did sell out the Hidden House Zhao, but he did it after, not before. As for the reason why Lin Yi suspected those people, it was because Lin Yi saw through Boss Zhu's strength. Naturally, Boss Zhu wouldn't say it out loud. If House Zhao knew that he was exposed, he'd probably be sent back to the hidden house. He wouldn't be able to stay by Chen Shi's side, and he wouldn't have a good ending either. I didn't think that Lin Yi was this strong, killing Pu Huati and his bodyguards. Old Zhao was shocked. This Lin Yi wasn't weak at all. No wonder he was so arrogant during the Hidden House Summit, saying that he had the strength to fight Sky Class. Chapter 2399. But now, he was venting his anger on the casino. But before old Zhao could say anything, Guanyin spoke up. Father, this casino owner is a two-faced scoundrel. He's not a good person. How dare he betray our hidden house? If we don't teach him a lesson, he won't know who the boss of Donghai is. Yes, of course we'll teach the casino a lesson, but we'll have to wait until this blows over. Old Zhao waved his hand. At least wait until the news of Pu Huati and Pu Laoyou's deaths reach Southeast Asia. We'll go to their sects and let them know who killed their disciples. If we do it now and they blame it on us, it won't be worth it. Lin Yi is a sly bastard. He's capable of anything. Yes, father. Guanyin had wanted to attack the casino right away, but his father's words made sense. If they did it now, what if Pu Huati and Pu Laoyou's deaths were blamed on them? Grandpa, that Lin Yi is so strong, Zhao Qikuan. It was finally Qibing's turn to speak. He wasn't interested in taking revenge on the casino, he was worried about Qikuan. If Qikuan got Lin Yi's support, then who could stop him if he wanted to take over? Father, Zhao Qikuan must be removed. Guanyin hesitated before suggesting. Haze. Old Zhao sighed. He'd thought that if they could get rid of Lin Yi, then even if Qikuan didn't die, he wouldn't be able to do much. He'd be kicked out of House Zhao and become a normal rich man. But now, it seemed like he had to get rid of him, or there'd be endless trouble in the future. Head, Zhao Qikuan is still a bit against the idea of joining the test, but if we tell him that Lin Yi is joining as well, then maybe he'll go willingly. Elder Zhu suggested. Oh. Old Master Zhao pondered for a moment, then nodded his head and said, All right, go tell him. I won't see him. Old Zhao had made up his mind, but he was still a little emotional. Boss Zhu felt a little smug. He'd said this to get in touch with Qikuan, and as expected, the mission had fallen to him. This was because he had already calculated that old Master Zhao was a little sad and probably wouldn't go. Qibing and Qikuan, on the other hand, were enemies. Qikuan might not believe his words. Since Zhao Guanyin was Zhao Qibing's father, it wasn't suitable for him to do such a thing, so after he suggested it, it naturally fell onto his shoulders. It could be said that it was logical. Boss Zhu quickly responded. Unknowingly, Boss Zhu also realized that he had already boarded Lin Yi's pirate ship. It was impossible for him to leave. This was already destined from the moment Lin Yi discovered his identity. Therefore, although Boss Zhu was reluctant, he had no other choice. Luckily, helping Qikuan was also helping House Zhao. It was just two different factions, so Boss Zhu didn't feel too much of a burden. They came to Qikuan's room and knocked. Boss Zhu pushed the door open and walked in. Qikuan was sitting on the bed with his eyes closed, practicing. He didn't open his eyes when he heard the door open. Put the food on the table, I'll eat later. These days, there had been people delivering food to him every day. He was used to it. There were masters guarding his door, and even with his strength, he wouldn't be able to escape. Qikuan was too lazy to run. As for the food, Qikuan didn't worry at all. Hidden House Zhao wanted to get rid of him, but they wouldn't do something like poison. Houses had rules, and if they did something like that in the future, people would start using poison in the fight for the head of the house, and then Hidden House Zhao would be wiped out. So, to get rid of Qikuan, they had to use the Sky Elixir School's test. Qikuan had seen through the truth. These days, he had accepted his fate. Qikuan, someone told me to tell you, don't worry and go to the test. Boss Zhu lowered his voice and whispered to Qikuan. Qikuan opened his eyes abruptly and looked at Boss Zhu, confused. He wasn't a stranger to Boss Zhu, but he had always been Qibing's follower. Now that he came over and said something like this, Qikuan didn't know what was going on. But Boss Zhu didn't continue the topic. The head of the house told me to tell you that Lin Yi is participating in the Sky Elixir test as well. Qikuan frowned as he looked at Boss Zhu, a little surprised. He couldn't tell which side Boss Zhu was on right now. If he was one of Zhao Qibing's people, then there wouldn't be a problem with the second sentence. In order to let him participate in the test, he wouldn't reject it, so he told him this information. In fact, Qikuan knew that this was Qibing's plan to get him to join the test willingly. It was an overt scheme. But what Boss Zhu said in a low voice when he just came to the room was worth considering. Who did he say that on behalf of? Zhu Boss Yu? Qikuan frowned, unsure of what to say. I don't want to die. Boss Zhu only said this and left the room. Don't want to die? Qikuan paused, but he wasn't an idiot. He quickly realized the connection between the two. The first one, Boss Zhu was speaking for someone, and the second one was speaking for the head of the house, Elder Zhao. Since the first person was able to say something that made him feel at ease, it didn't need to be said who this person was. In addition to the two words Lin Yi in the second sentence, Zhao Qibing was sure that Lin Yi was the one who told Boss Zhu to bring him a message. And the reason why Boss Zhu gave in was simple: he was afraid of death. This made sense. After thinking about it, Qikuan, who had been depressed for so long, couldn't help but feel excited. It seemed like Boss Zhu hadn't forgotten about him. His act of sending him a message had paid off. Lin Yi must have found out about him through some other channel, so he told Boss Zhu to bring him this message. Like this, Qikuan didn't really mind joining the Sky Elixir sex test. He'd just see it as training with Lin Yi. After Lin Yi ended the call, he went to Han Jingjing's villa next door.